My God.
Forte.
Yes, yes, yes.
People are saying they can't hear you.
They can't hear you.
Muted all.
Damn, you made me turn on the wrong thing, SloMo. Oh my
Son,
God.
he said muted. Bro,
This is my
ain't
fault.
no
This is your
way.
fault.
Ain't
What
no
is-
way
what-
he called it.
Hold on.
way.
Struggle. Did
No
not say this was
way.
going to happen.
You
Did I?
called it immediately.
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ.
So
He literally
so we
called
two
it
for
like
two here?
I am slow
y'all
Stradamus.
two
Literally,
for two,
Stradamus.
bro.
Okay, whatever.
Yo.
Okay, once again, welcome to
so sad.
welcome to
So
episode 117 of the DPS podcast. It's an amazing day. We got a special guest. We got a birthday boy or a birthday man. He ain't a boy. It's going to be a great show, but I do want to introduce first an amazing co-host, the man of many slaps, the man that actually released a video today, and I'm shocked because it's his birthday and I didn't expect him to do anything. SloMoBackSlap.
was bored.
What is going on with you, sir? Please tell these people what is up.
Well, not
than what you
only
just
is
played
it my
Nostradamus.
birthday, but I am also. Hold on, let me make sure they can hear me.
They can hear you.
Can you guys hear me? They can hear me. Like,
They-
no,
they
I don't
can
want
hear you.
you to say that. I want them to say that. I want someone in the chat to tell me that they can hear me, because you know how it is out here. It's we all know how Forte roll when it comes to hosting the show. But no, it's I leveled up to level 42 this day, and it's been a good day. I relaxed, didn't work, I played some games. Played some of my favorite games of all time. I played Chrono Trigger. You know, just went through, just like, you know, just doing little things here and there. Played some other games. Just have fun. And I spent time with family. My daughter, my 7-year-old daughter, called herself giving me like a ton of gifts. She just got me like, she literally just wrapped like little things around the house, like and gave it to me as gifts, and I just pretended like I was amazed. It was a good day, man. It was a good day. But we got a special guest here, first time guest here.
Yeah,
you know, regardless of my birthday, I want to make sure that we treat our guests properly. You know what I'm saying? So if our audience doesn't know, we got a well, I would say one of the best Twitch streamers I've seen on the show today.
Yeah, he means the best, not one of.
Okay, the best. He is the best. Okay, you heard him. He said he the best.
Yes, sir.
Struggle gamer in the house. What's up, man?
What's good, y'all, man? It's great to be on the show, bro. It's fun to be on here, man. I'm happy to be here, bro.
Yeah, we absolutely happy to have you. You're like and what we normally do in the very beginning is well, I mean, we gotta get these super chats out the way because Forte got super chats up there. But after the super chats, we normally kind of just talk about what we've been playing. And I know you've been playing a bunch of stuff. So Forte, you wanna do the super chats real quick, and then we can get into that.
Yeah. So first of all, shout out to the homeboy Dragonheart Yobi. He re-upped his membership to the 10%ers. Shout out to you, bro. Really appreciate it. 3 months in a row for him. Shout out to the homeboy Cat Daddy Lurk with the $10 super chat. Let's have another great show, gents. Also, did you guys see that Returnal is supposedly scheduled for February on PC release? Yes, sir. We are going to talk about that later on in the show, sir.
Yeah, I guess the Cat Daddy would know that if you had the topics list up.
Oh, I took it.
Hey, bro.
Slow-mo. I called
this.
I called that one too. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's a gift. It's a gift, I guess.
I thought I had it up. Whatever. Shut up, Slow-mo.
Yo, this is amazing.
Well, listen, we can read each other's minds, so it is
I
what
love
it is,
it.
I guess.
I love it.
So, shout out to so we're gonna talk about that later on, Cat Daddy. Shout out to Sonic Ring X with the $42 super chat. Happy 42nd birthday, Slow-mo. I will be 52 in 3 months. Keep up the great work, DPS podcast. Really appreciate you, bro.
Sonic Ring. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And 52, look, being here that long and dealing with all the nonsense in this world, you're a very, very blessed man. And Forte, can you like cash at me that 42?
No.
That's definitely for me.
No, listen.
So
This is what we doing. This is what we gonna do. From now on, starting with that super chat, every super chat that is donated, because I ain't giving Slow-mo all my money. Every super chat that you guys donated, I will split half with Slow-mo when
split half. Well, did you live half my years?
At the end of the
did you live 21 of my years, sir?
I lived longer. I lived longer than you.
Oh my god. You know, this man. All right.
Or if you want the super chat to go to Slow-mo, put hashtag. If you want the super chat to go all to Slow-mo, put hashtag SB. Slow-mo in the chat and out.
SB.
SloMoBackSlap. SB. Hashtag SB. And I'll send the whole thing to Slow-mo.
You are a trip. Hey,
man, I ain't get no monetary gains off that episode 100. I'm just messing with
terrible. Look, this is what I deal with behind the scenes. Forte is always about like.
You know what I was thinking though?
What the super chats look like?
No. You know what I was thinking though? I was actually thinking about that earlier today. I was like, it was already too late because we already had everything set up for the show. And I was sitting there. I was like, you know what? We probably should have let Slow-mo have the show on his channel this week. And we just did 2 weeks on my channel. We should have did that.
Yeah, you know what? That probably would have been. We definitely wouldn't have had anyone muted or the
Oh my
topics list.
God! Stop
Hey,
it!
Not
yo,
there.
Stop
the
it!
shots fired is crazy today, dog.
Stop
I'm
it.
just saying, like that definitely would have been done correctly. Shout out to Flame with the $2 super chat. Says happy birthday, Slow Mo. Hope your day was awesome. Thank you, Flame, for the 89 cents you just gave me since we splitting that in half. I appreciate you, sir. And I just appreciate Flame just all together because he's always in the
Oh
chat,
my
always
God.
supporting. Shout out to Cat Day Alert with the $2 super chat. He says, "Go and buzz this down, fam." All right, yo, shout out to you guys. We having a good time today.
Yeah.
About the games we've been playing. So like, Struggle, you go ahead and go first. Let us know what you've been playing. Recently. But what have you been getting into when it comes to gaming this January 2023?
Dog, I've been on every Telltale game imaginable, bruh. I've
Word,
been
all
so
You've
that.
been playing
bored,
like
dog.
that.
Yeah, look, I be on stream like what I'm playing, y'all. They be like, bro, Telltale. I'm like, all right, bro. I beat what was Among Us in one day.
Oh man. Okay.
I just beat the first Batman jump like
Oh, the first
Monday.
Batman is fire.
Fire.
Yo,
Heat, cause it was heat.
it was
I
heat.
played the second one today. And then I've been on Final Fantasy, way too heavy. 14.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
MMO joint.
okay. Oh, so
I've been on that
basically
way too heavy,
you wasted all your time then, because like basically
Wow.
MMOs will have
Yeah.
Why you gotta be
have you
wasting all
not
your
realizing you ain't bathed in 2 days, and then like this is the last time I ate food, and this is the
And I'm
last
like
time
a
I've been
weirdo with
outside.
it
You
too,
got
like, cause I'm like, I'm on the weird side of the MMO
guys.
joint too, bro. I'm in them
20
ERP
seconds.
groups.
We just got to hold for 20 seconds.
Oh, y'all know what that is?
No, push
Oh
hard.
yeah, y'all old folk. Yeah, let me
All right.
put y'all on.
Oh,
Man.
no.
Let me put y'all on or something, man.
All right.
ERP
That guy,
mean
he's coming back up.
erotic
He's coming
role
back up.
play, man.
Left side, near the front.
Erotic
I got
role
the grenade.
play.
I got the grenade.
Final Fantasy.
He's coming up on the
Yeah.
left side. I got the
Where are
flag.
you? Is this like a
No.
special server kind of thing?
It ain't, well, technically it is a special server, but you can do it anywhere. And they talking about game audio and chat, yeah. But
Oh my gosh, Forte.
How they getting game out of
Mute the game. How do we do this all the time? You gotta have the game like always muted. Use the
was
same
muted.
source.
this is
They
a
heard it.
because
Oh,
of
you know
me,
what?
bro.
I made a 1440p source. That's why.
Why are you just making a 1440p
remember,
source? And we've been doing this for like 8
Because
years.
I never play at 1440p on my Xbox. It's always 4K. And since I've been playing on PC, all my stuff was 1440p. That's your fault for making me play Halo on PC. I'm blaming you.
Y'all see what I deal with
every day.
It's my fault. Everything's my fault. Like it was like you had us muted at the beginning. That was my fault too. Apparently, even though I can't control
Listen, it wouldn't
anything.
be DPS if that didn't happen. Unfortunately.
Yeah, well,
Continue, sir.
So ERP stands for erotic roleplay. Yeah, it's look, I don't do it because I get pleasure for it. I do it because I get in-game money, and I be in the game broke as hell. So I be so broke, dog. Everybody in that game been playing so long, they mad rich and they do weird stuff, and you do weird stuff for them, you get a little change. So I be getting a little change.
Oh, so you doing your in-game Final Fantasy 14 avatar is doing strange things for in-game piece of change, basically.
Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah, I'm a fatty.
Oh, yo, Struggle is okay, so shout out to
I do
Struggle.
it for content though. I do it for content.
Who's on the panel, who also did a $5 super chat and hashtag SB gonna take this $4.71.
That's all guess what? That's all going to slow-mo because he put hashtag SB in there.
Oh my gosh, this is funny. You know I got my calculator out, right?
I know you do.
Yeah, I'm taking a tally of everything. I'm gonna give you the financials
listen,
at the end of the show.
He gonna literally come to me on February 21st next month, be like, pay me. He gonna be like, Joel.
Yeah.
He gonna be like,
I'm here
Joel out
for it.
here. Where's my money?
I'm here for it. The last game I've been spending a lot of time on is Call of Duty. I host Call of Duty tournaments. I be on there trying to keep my
Oh,
skills
Oh,
up
you
because people
skipped
be
no,
thinking they can take it.
yeah,
we skipped
my
Rodimus.
bad.
Rodimus with
Okay.
the $5 super chat. He
But-
said slow-mo in his birthday bag, and I hope he's not in his birthday suit while on the show.
Well, this is why I'm never on cam.
Bag? Are you in your birthday?
This is
bag?
why I'm never on cam because like I'm always in the birthday suit. If anything, like you know some boxes and a beater on. You know, like who I'm not dressing up for y'all. Come on now.
This man put his kids to sleep real early today and went and chilled with his wife before the show. That's why he was late. That's why.
Hey man, it's my birthday, man.
Hey man, you get anything you want on your birthday. If you do everything right throughout the year, you get whatever you want on your birthday.
Absolutely. Shout out the Dragonheart Yobi with the $5 super chat. He says, so 2023, we blaming SloMo on his birthday. Forte, how dare you, sir? Apologize to this great human. Hold on. Apologize to this great human being and send him 200 for his payment. Yobi, that's what I'm talking about.
That bag, Forte, get it.
That is a amazing super chat. That's what I'm talking
Yobi,
about.
if you send a $200 super chat, I'll send it directly to him.
Hey yo, that's crazy.
Shout out to Ice Wall Oakham with the $2 super chat. Hashtag SloMoBackSlap. Here's to your retirement fund, old man.
Hey man, I'm gonna take it, man. Look, my pension and my and we know how things are with Social Security. Like it wasn't made for us; it was made for them baby boomers. By the time it's our turn, ain't gonna be no money left. So I appreciate that. I'll take that. $1.15 or whatever the cut is after.
No, that's yours. Whatever 70% is.
but no, seriously. Back to what we were talking about. So Final Fantasy 14, like I've seen and we've had Shar on the show before. Shar is also a streamer. I see her stream Final Fantasy 14 a lot. What I guess I'm past MMOs. Like I try them and I can't really get into them. Struggle. What is your thing with like why is Final Fantasy 14 such a big game for you?
It's because of how much like it's so much content in there. And it's not trash content because nowadays games just be pumping you full of like collectible quests and fetches and something stupid. All this content that's stupid and meaningless. Like this got good content, a lot of it, and it all like is interesting.
It's not just like 20 fetch quests of like catching some chickens and bringing them back to some farmer, and then he gives you like a weapon or something, and it's not like mundane nonsense.
I'm not gonna say that's not there at all.
Got some of that in there.
The content that you're gonna do is not that. No.
Okay.
It's got that in there, but you can skip that or just do that to get past your main story. But I'm talking about the raids. The economy is real nice to play around with because I'm real big on the economy, bro. I be trying to get this money. That's going to be live. Like it's so much role play in itself is a whole aspect of the game made by the community. Like it's a dub game. It's just a lot to do. It's really timeless for real.
Yeah. It's interesting you brought that up about like the role play and a lot of the stuff that you're talking about seems to be very community driven. Like I read something about because I'm big into Fortnite, and I read something about like I was actually shocked because I almost never do any of the community created stuff in the creative mode. But I read a statistic that said that 50% of the Fortnite community are basically playing the creative mode stuff and not playing the actual like zero build or the battle royale, the actual modes that are created by Epic. And I'm just like, I was shocked by that. I had no idea that many people were indulging in all that other content, especially considering like the Epic content is on Unreal Engine 5 and they still haven't got the community created stuff off of Unreal Engine 4. But the fact that is the case kind of makes me kind of wonder, like, so a lot of these live service games that are doing so well look like Forte's showing Halo Infinite, which we've been playing a lot of over the past couple weeks. Like, what really revitalized Halo Infinite was they introduced Forge.
Yep, the community always saved the day.
So I think that's got to be the move. Like for if you're going to do a live service game, you got to have some kind of tools available or some method available for the community to kind of spread their wings, do their own thing. And it actually, it's like, I think it is almost like, I forgot what they call it, where it's like you have control over this IP and you could be a control freak, but like the most successful way or the best way to actually help your game would be to let things go and let the community create things that you don't actually have to do. And it's like, I think a lot of developers have a hard time letting go of things and just let each other.
There's a Dragons trying to take their things back.
Right.
Because they had the OGL for 20 years where it's opened up, everybody can do whatever, and now they're like, we need it back now.
Yeah.
Nah, man, you can't have that back, bro.
Right. But yeah, man. That's it's as usual. I knew you would be playing a whole bunch of stuff. Forte, Forte, what you been playing, man?
I will tell you. Wait 1 second. Let me get these new 2 super chats that we just got. Shout out to Ryan Landis with the $2 super chat. Hashtag justice for slow-mo. Shout out to
That's
you.
right. That's right.
Also,
justice
for slow-mo. Also, another tweet.
No justice, no.
No,
okay. All right, go ahead.
Also, another super chat from the homie Cat Daddy Lurk, $20 super chat saying hashtag SloMoBackSlap. You better not be butt naked in the leather chair. You're playing a dangerous game, sir.
My chair is not leather. It's like it's
Polynesian.
I don't know how to describe the seat part. But this is a office chair because I don't use gaming chairs. That's a real world lesson for you guys. Don't use gaming chairs. You will end up with needing a bacchiotomy one day. So use office chairs. I'm in an office chair, so don't worry. If I'm free balling, it's okay.
Right. And Phil, yes, you do have to pay a monthly fee for Final Fantasy 14. If you pay monthly, it's $14.99. If you do the time cards, it's only done in 60-day time cards, so you got to pay for 3 months. 2 months at a time. But it's definitely worth jumping into if you haven't experienced especially since they basically relaunched the game and they cut out a lot of the filler of stuff when it came to the beginning parts of the game, where it was like a super slog to get caught up to all your other friends that did most of all the early stuff in the game. They streamlined it a lot, so it's definitely worth jumping into if you're into like the MMO setting. But it is a monthly fee or bi-monthly fee depending on how you want to go about it.
They got a free trial now up to level 60.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Up to 60?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
cap is 90, so you basically get most of the game.
Yeah, they definitely trying to get people in the door. That's all that is.
Well, that's bold. Hey, that's like the confidence in that.
Yeah,
just be like,
that's true. That's
we'll give you 60 levels, and even though that's the majority of the game, we know you're gonna stay. Because if you hit level 60, we got you.
Oh God, you trapped, you stuck. You even get it, you're stuck, bro. If you hit 60, you're not gonna not pay for that sub after.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, but for myself, you see it on the screen. Been playing a lot of Halo Infinite, even knowing Slomo lied to me weeks ago to get me back into this game. And after all the stuff we're going to talk about today,
I don't know why you keep caring about that.
I do because
clearly,
because I do like the game. I really do. I always loved Halo, and that was the whole reason that you had to lie to me, because you knew I wasn't going to just come back just to come back. I literally was on hiatus from this game, and after all the news that we got this week about it, I wish I still was, and we'll talk about that later. But
I lied to you for your own benefit. I did it for you.
But guess what? The game is amazing. We were playing the new joint operations game mode yesterday. Really, really cool. A lot of people feel like a lot of people in there cheating. You never really know.
Wall hacks
we got wall hacks and everything. It's like, man, don't you got enough equipment to your disposal? They giving you. You see me shake. Look, that's another thing. I'm tired of that too. I'm shaking my gun because you see that slowdown. That is the one thing that I hate about this game. I don't know what it is. It's a bug, but every once in a while, your aim assist
on PC.
Yeah, I'm playing on PC. Where
That is interesting. I don't have that issue.
you see it? Do you see how it's jerking?
I do see it. Yeah, I do see that. That's weird. I don't. But the issue I have on PC is that after I launch the game, I cannot touch my mouse ever again. Because as long as the game is up. Because if I touch my mouse, it disables the aim assist when I go into a match. So I just gotta do everything through the controller, navigate all the menus, and just make sure that if I'm just using shortcuts to record like clips of like matches and stuff like that off the keyboard, but don't touch the mouse, because if I touch the mouse, I gotta restart the game. But I've never had that issue that I'm seeing with your gameplay where it's like, that's weird. Like
randomly, and it doesn't do it all the time. It like the last, like it just did it there, but it literally didn't happen for the last 2 times I played the game. But on certain days, it just seems like we're just going to screw you in every gun engagement you have. But even with that being said, I still enjoy the game to the point where I'm like, yo, this game is still by far one of the best feeling shooters out there. Like, there's not too many games I can say have a better feel when it comes to pulling the trigger in the game, and it's just fun playing it with friends and stuff too. So that's what I've been playing. I did jump back into Destiny because there was a lot of new updates and stuff for it that's getting ready to come out, and getting ready for the new season for that. And then I've been playing a lot of NBA with Dealer, because NBA is awesome, especially when you're putting hundreds and hundreds of dollars into it to keep up with the Joneses in that game. But outside of that, yeah, man, that's kind of all I've been doing over the course of the last week since the last show.
Oh, as for myself, I spent a good portion of yesterday banging my head against the wall on this stupid XCOM mission. And look, I love XCOM. I love XCOM, right?
Right.
And I'm playing XCOM Chimera Squad, but everyone who's played XCOM knows what I'm about to say. You would get these moments where you're playing the game and you got a shot lined up and it says 94% chance of hitting. And then you see how much damage you're going to do. Oh, I'm going to kill this guy. This enemy's going to die. And then one or two things are happening in Chimera Squad. It said the enemy has 6 health. My shot's supposed to knock out all his health bars. I hit him. He still has 1 health bar left. I'm like, how? You told me, but I took the shot because you said I would kill him.
Well, you said,
He's still alive.
It said a 94% chance of hitting him and killing him.
Oh, no. That's the other thing. When it seems like that 6% is more than 6%, man. It's more like 60%. Because it's like if it's not 100% chance going to hit, it's like, man, it don't matter if you got a shotgun and they in point blank range. I've had shots where it's like 98% and the dude is literally like breathing on the back of your neck. You're just like, how is this not 100% shot? And then you shoot and it's like that 2% hits you. It's just like, I'm literally yelling 94% as is missing. And so it's that stuff like that. I spent maybe like a good 3 hours on one mission where it was like these terrorists were trying to bomb this like memorial site, and I get into it's like Chimera Squad's awesome because it's very story driven, which is very different from other XCOM games, but they have like a 3-step encounter. So like you'll clear rooms almost kind of like Rainbow Six, old school Rainbow Six, by the way, where like you'll like clear a room and then you go into the next room and then you breach the room. Like you'll choose where to go through a window or just make a hole in the wall and breach through that and surprise the enemies and stuff like that. Like the breach mode is pretty awesome. But you go in, and for this particular mission on the last stage, I went in and I was told, my intel told me one of them had a bomb. So I had to kill whoever had the bomb to end the mission. But instead, I get in there and they're like, oops, whoopsie, all of them have a bomb.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, and it's like 12 people in there. I'm just like, oh no. And so it's like they're literally rushing to the point to to kamikaze drop the bomb, and I'm just trying my best to kill as many of these enemies as possible. It just took forever to finally get it done, but when I did, it was just like I was sweating. I was tired. I was like, man, I got a headache. I think I'm done for the rest of the night. I'm just done. But no, like I have been enjoying XCOM. I've been playing, of course, Halo Infinite with the Fire Team, bodying fools left and right. Road Company with Agent Deli, him out here, you know, making 12-year-olds cry and uninstall the game. Shout out to him. And Fortnite as well. But of course, we're playing some Fortnite. You know, the usual multiplayer stuff, but that's about it, man. You know, the usual.
Cool.
But I guess we can get into these topics, man. I think we rambled long enough.
Yeah, we hit our normal 9:30 mark when it comes. You know, it's kind of consistent too. I always look at the clock when we get to the part where we start topics. It's always like 9:25 or 9:30. So shout out to everybody that likes to just listen to us ramble about our week in life, basically.
Long-winded.
Long-winded. Well, both of us. Yeah, we can talk. But getting into the first topic, Nintendo is working with suppliers for the Nintendo Switch successor. So there's no real information on this. We do know that there are a lot of different new technologies out there that could be at play. But the biggest conversation I want to have around this is, you know, SloMo can't stand Nintendo because he thinks Nintendo is like the most overrated company out there for the most part.
They are.
But
it is.
But the thing I want to ask you,
thank you, Struggle.
But the thing I want to ask you guys, and I'll go to Struggle first. What is it that you would like to see in the next Nintendo platform? Would you like them to stay first? Would you like them to stay in a handheld, portable, you know, with the, you know, the hybrid market, or would you like to see more of a move back to, you know, traditional gaming console back at the house? What is it that you think they should do, or what would you like to see?
To be honest, I'm cool with it staying handheld, bro. But it gotta be able to run Crisis Remake. You know what I'm saying? I need it to be powerful.
What kind of handheld? It's gonna be the size of an Xbox Series S, man.
Listen, I feel like my iPhone more powerful than the Switch sometimes, man.
It is.
Like, yeah, and that shit, and that stuff ain't big, bro. So they can do something, bro. They can do it. I believe in them. They did the Steam Deck pretty good. Do that.
That's true. It also costs a lot more too.
Hey man, them Nintendo people got it. They pay $60 for games that's 80 years old, so they got the money.
That's true.
That is
Big
true.
fact.
They got the money, bro. They don't have sales, man. They been had cheese. I can only afford one game on Switch a month. That's it. Maybe getting all pay.
Yeah, the Nintendo reaches deep in your pockets for that cash.
Even
for games that's super old that came out on the Wii U, they're just like, I know we charged you $50 for that game on the Wii U, and we didn't do anything to it. We didn't even remaster it, but we want 60 for this one. It's just
60 for this one.
And they don't budge ever.
Yeah, and game sells like 30 million copies somehow. It's crazy.
Exactly. What about you, Slam?
I would say this. Like I remember back when the Switch Switch Pro rumors and everything, which turned out like Nintendo denied that they was ever a Switch Pro and said they were all false, but turned out they were true. They just looked at their numbers. So look, the way this stuff works, when they decide that they're going to make new hardware, like you can't just decide, I'm gonna make a new console and then have it out in 6 months or plan it within 6 months. It takes years to plan this stuff. And they had made plans. They had assumed that the Nintendo Switch's sales would start to die down right around the time the pandemic started up. And because of the pandemic and people being in the house, like, of course, like we saw it with all the video game consoles, those sales skyrocketed. And they saw a bump that they didn't expect. And then they looked at like, well, if we actually release a Switch Pro right now, we're really going to be only hurting ourselves. We're going to be releasing a platform that's only going to be competing against itself. It's just that's pointless. So they pretended like they never had one to begin with, even though there's like stuff out there that shows that they were actually looking at a better version of the NVIDIA Tegra chip that powers the Nintendo Switch. They were going to have an even more powerful version. I think it's the Xavier model that they were going to use in that. And I still think that might still be the case. They may still just use what they had already intended on doing, but maybe call it something different. But it's getting now, I think I saw something that showed that last year, even though the Switch was still the highest sold platform last year, they were like 25% down on hardware sales compared to 2021. So they may be starting to look at like, okay, this is the sign that we needed, that it's time for new hardware now. And I would say they probably still need to do what actually worked for them this time. Issue I've always had with Nintendo is that they're so unique and so off the wall that they just like they'll forget something that worked for them in their previous generation to do something new that no one asked for.
Right.
And then it's just like, why didn't you just stick with what worked for you? That would have been perfect. And I think in this case, they should just still do the hybrid console handheld model. Like just do a better version of that could actually run modern games, because the Nintendo Switch is weaker than the PlayStation 4, original PlayStation 4 from 2013. It's 2023. Like, you gotta come out with something that's at least, I would say, like on the Xbox One X level.
Right.
At least to kind of just keep up with the Joneses, because the Switch, because it's such a big platform and they get so many sales, like they're actually are getting third party support this time around, and you don't want to give that up. Where you got developers, not all of them, of course, but like you got this promise, this mandate from Microsoft that if they get Call of Duty, you get in 10 years of COD. Like you actually want to have some hardware that people will actually want to play COD on, because frankly, I don't know anybody that is serious about Call of Duty that will want to actually compete against other people on the Nintendo Switch. Like, you must be out your mind. Ain't no way that's happening. So it's just like, you gotta come up with something that actually makes people feel like I could actually compete on this with that, So I think that I mean, I don't know. It's Nintendo. I don't want to assume something that they should do is something that they will do, because more than likely they ain't going to do that. They're just going to do whatever makes the most money. So they're just going to find the cheapest possible upgrade they can, pretend like it's the greatest thing ever, and then Nintendo fans are going to eat it up. So there you have it.
Yeah, that's definitely probably going to happen. I will not disagree with you on that. I do think that it is definitely time for a news. It's been time for one for a while, but I do agree. I do think they are at that point.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah,
it's got to be more powerful than a Steam Deck.
Oh yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah,
I would honestly
love that. I mean, at this point, at this point they're working on 2014 tech basically. So they definitely need to do something, because the Switch came out in 2017. So I do think they are. I do think that this is very substantiated, but I do think that they are so close, and people are going to probably say they don't care about this. They do care about this. They are literally less than just around 20 million away from being the most sold console of all time. They're gonna hit that number. They're gonna hit that number before they move on from the Switch. Because I always kept saying, like, what would they do? Would they just rebrand the Switch and just like give you a better version of it? I don't think that's enough. I think they would need to actually redesign it. I mean, it could keep the same, they could keep the same model and everything like that, but I think it just has to be so substantially different that it's going to have to be something completely new. It can't just reform what they already have, because the parts are going to be so different that you really just can't say, oh, this is just a Switch Pro. Like, no, everything in this thing basically tells us that this is something completely different. So,
but they also can't make the mistake they made with Wii U.
Oh, no, they can't do that. The
Wii U was a new platform. But because they named it Wii U,
people thought it was an add-on.
Yeah, and so they were just like, "Well, I already got a Wii. I don't need a Wii U." But it's
Right.
like, no, it's not. It's not a Wii.
Yeah, it's not a Wii.
It's Wii U, which is stupid.
Right.
But like,
They
but
forgot who they was telling to. It was like grandmas and moms messing that one up, boy. I ain't
yeah,
gonna lie.
exactly. So it's just like, yeah, they really missed the boat with that. They can't make that mistake again. If you're making a whole new platform and the games on it aren't going to be, I mean, look, we all kind of want Nintendo to make their games backwards compatible, but let's be for real, they're not. But so they're not going to make the games on a new platform backwards compatible to the Switch. And if that's going to be the case, which it likely is, you can't name your platform Switch something because people are going to be thinking, "Oh, well, I don't need that because I already got a Switch."
Right.
But it's not the case. It's basically be making the same mistake they made with the Wii U again. So they need to give it a whole new name, but still do what people enjoy from the Switch. Having a cradle that they can stick the thing on and play it docked and then pick it up and go somewhere and do this and still play it in a hopefully a playable frame rate because you're gonna have better hardware. That's what people want. And that's a similar experience you already get with the Switch right now. So if that's the reason why people are really enjoying it and playing it and loving it, outside their first party software that's extremely unique, you gotta provide that.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing for me. Ultimately, they're going for the number one most sold platform. After that, then that's when I see this happen. And this is about the time because I do think you won't see something new from Nintendo until maybe 2025. So that gives them all of this year, most
See
likely
that?
all of
Yeah.
next year, and
2 years.
they'll announce it at the towards the middle end of next year, and it'll be something that will
Yeah.
probably release in like April or May of 2025.
I can I agree with that completely. Well, Shrugger, what do you think the timetable would be on a new Nintendo platform?
Dude, actually, I don't know how to predict this because I mean they don't really follow none of the other consoles. They do their own thing. So shoot,
True.
man,
That's very
if
true.
they working on hardware this year, they probably could get it out next year. I ain't gonna lie, cause what we want is probably not what we gonna get. So they probably doing whatever they
What
really
we
want.
want, we ain't gonna get.
Honestly, bro, let's be honest. We just demanded a lot. They gonna give us about two things and then bump
2%.
it out.
Oh man, no
So
way.
shoot, man, we might see this late next year, bro. I ain't even gonna lie, man. They got cell phone production the way they be giving us garbage, bro.
He
Yeah,
ain't
leave.
lying. He ain't
You know
lying.
what? That doesn't make a lot of sense now I think about it. It don't make sense, and that's why it makes sense for Nintendo. Like it's like if they could just really announce something like a few months from now, and you be like, wait, they just
Oh
really
man.
just announced they're dropping a new Switch later this year or something like that, or like early
Everybody
next
gonna
year.
cop.
Yeah. And they know with the way things are right now, like they gave us they dropped the Switch OLED. That's $50 more expensive
They did.
than the Switch. There's nothing different.
No,
Oh,
there's
man.
definitely
Internally, there's nothing
there's
different
nothing
about
different
it.
about that
They
system.
gave you a better kickstand and a better screen. Give me
And
50 more
and more
dollars
space. Double the space.
for an obsolete piece of hardware that at the time of coming out is even cheaper than it was when it launched. And when it launched, they launched it by making a profit off of every single unit, which lets you know it was old, outdated tech to begin with.
Yep.
Crazy. And
Welcome to
do they have any problems selling the Switch OLED? Not at all. So
No, they
Man,
don't.
they can sell whatever, man.
they really do. They got like
Cardboard.
power, bro. I don't get it. Nintendo just got power over people, bro.
Listen, man,
They do.
Nintendo know what they out here doing. That's all.
I can't hate either, bro. Like what? I couldn't, because if I was running that company, best believe I'd be evil too. Dude.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. It just ultimately comes down to like, what is it that people really want to see, and ultimately, that's kind of what it is. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but moving on to the next topic. Let's see. PlayStation VR 2 coming to PC, and the full launch was revealed today. So we'll start with the first part. PSVR, I didn't read too much into it, Slow, because I know you sent it to me. I did see some things about it possibly working on PC.
I can explain it. I can explain
Yeah,
it.
go ahead.
So it's probably not really going to happen, and here's why. So the devs that created the firmware that allow PSVR 1 to work on PC, they said that more than likely Sony is going to encrypt the PSVR so that it will not be able to work on a Windows OS. And by the time, basically, long story short, by the time they are able to break that encryption and get it working, also they said something else about I don't understand VR tech that well, but it's like I forgot the actual piece of software that helps make things work, but there isn't they don't know of that whatever that software is that for the PSVR 2 that is already set up for PC. So therefore that would need to get created too. Essentially by the time all of that got done, it would be years from now, and the PSVR 2 would be obsolete at that point. And so there would be more modern and way more powerful VR headsets out at that time, and there'll be no reason to even put it or use it on a PC when you can just get something that's already more powerful. So it's just like basically says it will be pointless. Now, all that said, my theory is that it won't be possible to jailbreak it, so to speak, and use a firmware of some sort to get it working on your PC on your own. But I do think that Sony, because of their focus on PC, will actually push firmware themselves that will make it possible to play it on PC, because it's a huge PC market for VR that they'll be tapping into. You're already tapping into that market. You're making monitors for PC. You're marketing your monitors for PC. You're marketing headsets for PC. You're marketing your games for PC. Why not do that with PSVR when you are definitely trying to get more of a market share in that market and push those games? You know, it makes sense.
I agree. What do you think, Struggle?
I don't care. I got my own VR.
Which VR do you have?
The Facebook joint. What's it called? Oculus Quest 2.
Quest 2. I got that too.
If PSVR, I don't care if it comes right. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't about to get that joint.
Yeah, I'm also not getting it as well because I just don't I don't even use my Quest 2. I haven't used it in almost a full year. Last time I used it, I played Beat Saber on it in February of last year. So I just don't like.
I'll say I use it, but the things I use it for, PSVR wouldn't even like it. I wouldn't even be able to do. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that because like I mod my Oculus and play modded games and stuff on that stuff. I can't do that with PSVR. I can't do that.
I think some of the most interesting parts of VR have nothing to do with actual gaming. Like I remember, shout out to Kay Asante. Kay Asante invited me into this theater room thing. I forgot the name of the app. It's a free program, a free application in Oculus, and we're just sitting in this theater, like a VR theater, and there's a huge screen up there, like you go into a movie theater. You can play whatever you want on it. You can play movies that you bought through Oculus on it. You can hook up. You can link your Netflix account to it and watch your Netflix TV shows with other people, like in a party theater watching the show, and everyone can hear each other. You can see each other's avatars sitting in chairs. You can switch chairs. It's awesome, and it's like, man, this is what I remember doing that. Like this is amazing.
So
but that's
dope.
the most amazing thing.
You get you in there with like your headset on. It's so great. It's so immersive.
And it's like that's the most amazing thing that I've seen in VR. It had nothing to do with gaming, and I think that like that's just kind of like I think the people that love VR, I very rarely see them talking about some amazing VR game that's a killer application that you gotta play it. It's a can't miss. You have to play this game. Nah, they're just like, oh man, you gotta do this experience.
Right.
You gotta
Yeah.
do this with other things. It's nothing to do with gaming. I'm like, all right, I'll try it out, but it's just
I mean,
like,
they are games, but it's like you said, more experiences than anything.
yeah,
Remember
but no,
that,
like,
I remember
that-
that ERP I was talking about.
oh boy,
Oh, here we
You can do that
go.
in VR too.
I can imagine.
They be having full body. They got full body suits where you could like do everything. I ain't rich enough to afford that, but they be going crazy on there in the ERP in the VR chat. Be
Man.
wild.
And if somebody, how if we got somebody to go out and say, SloMo, I want to subscribe to the new Min-Maxer build here and have you play something like Resident Evil 8.
Oh, okay. Look, that tier is for regular games. You got
You know?
you got to get me to play some horror game in VR.
It's a game though.
The
SloMo.
price of the brick has gone
No,
up.
you gotta-
I am not.
you
Look,
got a SloMo.
no,
if
nah,
you
fam.
own the hey, I didn't even
No.
think about that.
no. The word the NO
Can
is
you-
it's not. I am not playing Resident Evil 7 in VR. It ain't happening. Alien
Don't do it.
Isolation, not happening. I'm
Don't do
sorry,
it, man.
You
I ain't doing it.
That man might have a heart attack on screen.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. No, I'm good. I'm good.
How much money would it take for you to do it?
Yeah, that's that. You
See,
talking my
struggle.
language.
What are you doing here, man? No, look.
I get you
There's
paid,
no,
brother.
no way. You be paid,
Hey,
and
you
I'll be in
sound-
a
you sound-
psychiatric
you
ward
sound
too.
Just like
Oh,
me,
well.
bro. You sound just like me,
Yeah,
man.
we trying to get. We
I-
both trying to get you a check.
You trying to get you a
I'm
check,
not.
man?
I'm
Brother.
good.
You already
I
own
don't.
the VR
I don't know a
hardware?
price. I don't
Yeah,
know
you
a
got it.
price that
You
that
don't
it
know a
would be.
price.
I don't know. Let's move on.
I know a price is
Hey,
$100.
you said there was
crazy.
you said there was a launch lineup.
Yep.
No. You said there was a launch lineup. What's the launch lineup?
Yeah, the launch lineup's on the screen, sir. It's on the screen.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. We got.
It's a scary game on there too.
Yeah. So let's see. You got After the Fall. We got Outer Break. We got Before Your Eyes. We got Cities VR.
You love that.
Is High. We got Creed Rise to Glory. The Dark Picture Switchback is coming.
Yep. Pass on that.
we got. Go ahead. What you about to say?
Demio is very, very popular. It's like it's not an MMO, but it's like an RPG. It's like a VR RPG. That's like more fantasy based. I haven't played it, but I do know. Shout out to Lord Cognito from the Iron Lords. He loves that game and he swears by it. So does Kay Asante as well. Both of them are big VR guys. But yeah, that Demio game is good. That PSVR is getting that. That's going to be popular.
Yeah, you got let's see what else. Fantavision's on here, Gran Turismo 7 with the free update, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Job Simulator. Ooh, we can get Jurassic World. We can get you in there, SloMo. We got Kayak. We got Kayak in there. We got Kazuda. We got Last Clockwork, Winder. I mean, the Last Brigade, Moss 1 and 2 remaster is going to be in there. The Moss games are actually really good on PSVR. If you know,
I heard that. I heard they were good.
They were really good.
No.
NFL Pro Error. So, listen, this NFL Pro Error will be SloMo's best way to get the Washington Redskins to be he'd be the
First of all, they're called the Commanders now. Okay.
Oh yeah, the Commanders.
And stop shading my team. Okay, man. Get back to the topics,
Did you make the
man.
playoffs this year?
We just missed it.
Yeah, we did too. Unfortunately, both my teams did. No Man's Sky coming to VR. Isn't that already on VR?
It is already on VR. Yeah, a lot of these games are already in VR, but it's good that PSVR 2 is getting them because it's like it's hitting a new audience.
Yeah, we got Pistol Whip, we got Puzzle Place, we got Resident Evil Village, which I am 100% in for SloMo playing in first person mode.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
I don't know what
you're talking.
I don't even play that game regular.
Grown man, you talk about a grown man wearing a diaper. That would be it. We We got Res Infinity, Infinite. We got Song of the Smoke. You know, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, which I actually.
What kind of Star Wars game is that? Like, what is it? How does it play? Like, what does it do?
It's a good. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but I know people they have it at. They have that actually at Galaxy Edge right now, where they have it in their own VR. It looks pretty crazy, bro. From what I know, the person that told me he did it, he was like, you literally feel like you have a lightsaber in your hand. You feel like you're actually in there fighting for your life inside of this simulator. So I've definitely
that's pretty cool. I might check that out on the Oculus because like having it, fight with a lightsaber just sounds cool.
Yeah.
It is cool.
Yeah, somebody. He had a video of him playing. His wife took a video of him playing it, and he had it like overlaid with the actual stuff that he saw. And I was like, "Yo, this looks crazy." And he said, and they go all out. It's at Disney, so they got the super high tech sound system and everything in there. So your mileage will vary on how the experience of it overall looks. It would be based on your setup, but yeah, from what I hear of that one, it's actually really, really good and interactive. Let me see. Tetris Effects is finally coming in there, which is already out on there. Thumper, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, Chapter 2, Retribution. That's coming. And What the Bat and Zenith, The Last City of Remain.
So they don't have Beat Saber?
Beat Saber, no, they don't have Beat Saber. Beat Saber is not on this list. Is that an Oculus exclusive right now?
I don't think so. I don't think that. I think that game's probably in Steam.
It might be
as well.
It is,
but like Beat Saber is like the most popular VR game that I know of. Like everyone has Beat Saber,
and I remember what and Beat Saber was on. Oh, you know why? Because Beat Saber was a PSVR 1 game, and remember VS.
Oh, so it's probably already available. Well, no. They did say that
they made it so they work.
No, like. I think the developers can push a patch that can make it work on PSVR 2. So as long as the developers are willing to support it, then yeah, like it probably end up being there. But these are like the games that at launch are already off the break, available and compatible with VR 2. So all right, that's fine.
Gregor said, "How does it feel, SloMo? Every NFC East team is still alive, but Washington."
Jesus.
I did see that when I was watching Undisputed. They had the bracket up there for the NFC, and I saw that. I was like, wait a minute! Literally every NFC East team is up there.
No, we gonna get back to gaming. I'm gonna say this real quick. As long as they don't win the Super Bowl, I don't care. Let them be alive. Let them have all the false hope they want. As long as they don't win the Super Bowl, none of them. I'm gonna win the Super Bowl.
Well, the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl this year with Mr. Irrelevant at quarterback. So,
I think okay, we could say this. We could move Niners against the Chiefs, or Buffalo.
I say Buffalo, but who? If it's the Chiefs, who's going to win? I think the Niners are going to win because they're going to want payback for that blown game that Jimmy G had 4 years ago.
For some reason I feel like Buffalo is better suited to play against that Niners defense. But look, this is not football talk. This is DPS podcast.
My guy, Cincy, my guy. I forget the Cincy's.
Hey yo, yeah, they made me proud, bro. They keep making me proud. My city doing good right now.
Wait. You're a Bagels fan?
Where?
No, I just live here.
Where are you from?
I'm from New York, but I'm in Ohio right now. I'm in Cincinnati.
Okay, so I can't slander you then. Okay, you're a resident of Ohio, but you just happen to move there. Okay, I'll leave you alone.
Video games.
We don't get along.
I mean, look though, man. I'm an Ohioan in my heart and a New Yorker in my heart. I'm tired. Okay,
we tired. You rep Buckeyes then, right?
Fuck no, I don't know them people.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah. Just keep
video games.
Right.
I'm just gonna keep shouting video games till we get back to video games.
All right. Hey man, the chat went into a different direction.
No, you took it to a different direction.
Blaming the chat. Oh,
blame everybody
all
but
right,
himself.
Flame has spoken. He said, "Stop ignoring the birthday boy." So SloMo is the
Facts.
birthday boy. He said,
Facts.
"Stop talking football." We'll
Back on topic.
back on topic. So moving on to the next topic, because nobody really cares about VR unless you're gonna pay SloMo $100 to play Resident Evil. I don't care either. Moving on to the next topic. Forspoken and the PC specs have been revealed.
Oh boy.
Yes,
I
sir.
definitely want to. I don't know if I want to start with SloMo, but I do want. I'm more interested because I already know what SloMo is going to say. I'm really interested to hear. Have you seen the specs for Forspoken? Struggle.
Yes, I have.
All right, so please.
I don't remember them word for word, bar for bar, but I got
that's fine.
ballpark.
Tell me your thoughts on the tomfoolery that Square is out here with, telling people they got to buy a new PC, basically. But go ahead.
All I'm saying, I'm gonna give you one negative, and then I'm gonna just
you go
ride
defend.
it
Okay.
after. I'm gonna ride it after that. Okay, this game gonna come out unoptimized as hell. I just want to say that right now.
Okay.
For PC, it's gonna be unoptimized as hell. I think it's gonna be just like Calypso Protocol, and it clear up in like a week. That's what I think. Because them particles and all them shaders gonna ruin a lot of people's GPUs first week. But other than that, have you seen how that game look? Of course it's gonna have them specs, bro. Like you can't be rocking no 2060 and 2023, bro. Like, man, we moved up. We passed y'all. It's just like people that be like, all right, cool, you still on PS4, why you expecting good games?
Right.
Bro, you still on 2 generations GPU. Like, come on, man, you gotta come up. I'm sorry, we gotta leave you behind eventually, dog. We gotta leave you eventually, dog.
I will say this, and I do agree with Struggle about that. Like, there are a segment of PC gamers that really kind of expect like their old GPUs, their old hardware to like be supported and optimized for indefinitely, and that's just not like reality. Like, if you out here still rocking with mechanical hard drive storage in your PC, don't talk to me. Like it shouldn't like, we've been having SSDs and PCs for like over 7 years, and they're just now putting it on the system requirement sheet that they are actually recommended that you have a SSD. Not even an NVMe SSD, but SATA, at least a SATA. Like, come on, like, get off of this old stuff. Upgrade your rigs from every now and then. That said, for Ultra, you are recommending a GPU that just came out last month. Be for real. Just came. And look,
GPU right
and we gotta look at things in context. Square Enix haven't had a good game put out on PC port like right off the rip since like Guardians of the Galaxy. Even that one was a bit buggy, but it was like it ran extremely well, and it looked great. This game is running the Luminous engine, which is a super demanding, and it's an open world. Like, I played the demo on PlayStation. Oh boy. That was the funny thing this week that I thought was hilarious, because we kept seeing all of these PlayStation fanboys that were laughing at the PC gamers. PCMRs crying about these specs, but like, that's not even fully accurate, because the guys that annoyed the PlayStation gamers by always talking about how their PC is more powerful, they're the guys that are the Nvidia fanboys. They get the 4090. They had the 3090 Ti, and now they got the 4090. They buy a new GPU every year. Every time there's a new generation, they get the latest and greatest. Those aren't the guys that care about the Forspoken spec sheet, because it's going to run great with a 4090. That 4090 is going to run everything great. So you're talking to the wrong crowd, And then furthermore, how can you talk about someone else's rig not being able to run something when your PlayStation 5 had resolutions dropping to 720p?
Yeah.
That's some Nintendo Switch stuff. And
Indeed,
every
it is.
time like what is her name? Is it Ella? Oh, sorry, no. Whatever the main character's name. Every time she casts a spell, the frame rate drops. So if you're playing in performance mode, then why would you be playing anything else? You're at 60, she casts the spell, it drops to 52, 45. Like that's in the demo, and the game comes out. That demo came out last month. The game comes out in a few days.
Why they didn't put that shit on PC, bro? They didn't put that on PC for that reason.
Yeah, that demo is going to be problematic. A lot of times they don't put demos on PC, and that's definitely one of the reasons why, because it's going to run terribly with all the different configurations that people have on PC. Whereas it's much easier to throw a demo out there on a PlayStation or Xbox where it's just one SKU. This is. Look, the game's going to be unoptimized. It's going to be really rough when it comes out, regardless of platform. It doesn't matter if it's on the PlayStation or if it's on your PC. It's the only rigs that are going to run this game great are going to be the rigs with the 4090s, with 64 gigs of RAM, with the latest and greatest CPUs, and because they're going to brute force it.
And you can't, and them the people that's not gonna be making content on the game, because you're not gonna make content on the game and run it ultra, bro. It's not gonna happen. You can't stream that.
Yeah, unless you run a dual PC setup, like say you got streaming PC strictly for just streaming, then you could probably do whatever.
I mean, energy bills $1,000 a month,
right?
Yeah, Texas.
Man, you better have some solar panels.
Texas was like the demo had an update. Then he says, "Who updates a demo?" That lets you know how bad it was.
Nah, for real. I ain't never seen
I never seen a demo get. I mean, I never seen a demo get, especially a single player.
I have not played the demo since the update, but go check YouTube channels like VG Tech. They're great at that stuff. Sometimes VG Tech gets their analysis of a game out before Digital Foundry and some of these other places. Like, if they said they fix it, that's fine. This is how we do on DPS. We always say thank you for your statement. We still gonna wait for independent analysis before we take your word for it. Because that's how we know that AMD lied about the specs on their latest RDNA 3 GPUs. That's how we know that Nvidia was out here with some misleading marketing info on their 4070 Ti and their 4080. That's how we know when developers will be out here capping for their games and claiming that it's going to do this or that, and then Digital Foundry is like, whoopsie, no, it didn't. So it's that's the best way to go about it. They're trying to sell you a product. You never take their word for face value.
That's true. You don't.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And then contrasting that, Returnal finally coming to PC SloMo. And the one thing that stood out to me, I might have to hook my PC up to my
OLED
receiver.
Oh, okay.
So I can get Dolby Atmos, because I can only imagine what that's gonna sound like on there. Because there's a lot of stuff that's going on in that game, and so what? Why don't you go ahead? So you're gonna play it the day?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we gotta We gotta do the tower. We gotta do the co-op. We gotta do all that.
Yeah, see, I would have beat it on PlayStation, but it was when it launched.
I refuse to play it on PlayStation.
When it launched, I was having a good time initially until I was in the middle of a run and the game crashed, and I was just like, that was like an hour wasted, and I'm just like, I can't stand the surefire way to get me to not play your game is if your game is so buggy that I'm wasting my time.
Right.
And I know they fixed it, but by the time they fixed it on PlayStation, I was off playing other stuff. Now that's coming to PC. Hopefully they ironed out those issues and the PC version doesn't have that problem. but I'm interested in playing through it again because I love roguelites. Like Hades is my jam. I love Hades. I like Risk of Rain too. Like I love those kind of games, and I want to play through Returnal and beat Returnal. So I'm going to do it, of course, at 120 frames per second on my rig instead of at 60 on PlayStation. So yeah.
Flame says running on the HDD for funzy.
Struggle, are you getting Returnal or Forspoken?
Yeah, no, both.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
both. I'm actually very excited for Forspoken. I might not sound like I'm a fanboy, but I am.
But where are you getting it? On which platform? PC? Okay, all right. So
what is your
I don't think I've ever asked. Yeah, they're about to say. Setup? Yeah.
I got a 3080 and I got a Ryzen 7 2800, but I got a 5800 that I need to put in here. I just been lazy.
Got you. Yeah. A 3080s. I upgrade to a 3080 Ti. I'm done upgrading GPUs. So everyone keeps telling me you're not done.
Yeah, he ain't done.
I'm done. I'm done. I had the bug, and the bug is gone. I'm sticking with the 3080 Ti for at least 2 years.
Oh yeah, it's been a day. So like you said, at least 2 years.
At least 2 years. I'm about to upgrade again until I see a 5 in front of those Nvidia numbers. Then I might look at. I might look. Who knows, right? But yeah. So a 3080, you should be good with that.
I should, because on that paper, I mean on that little sheet, it said you need a 3070 to stream in 1440, and I'm like, bro, I'm streaming.
And that's 30 frames per second.
Yeah, I'm doing 1080p 60. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Look, and see, and that's the thing. That's the beauty about PC is that you can look. Even though it's kind of implied, you don't know for certain. Those display resolution and frame rate numbers are all assuming max settings.
Yeah, every last one of them.
Yeah, so that's what's being implied. You could definitely turn down anthropic filtering from 16x to 8x and give yourself some frames back. You could turn down texture quality.
Overclock.
Yeah, right. Turn down texture quality off of ultra, which usually is a waste anyway, and just put it on high. You'll save yourself some frames that way too. Like that's the kind of the beauty of PC, that you can kind of play around with the settings until you find something that's acceptable. Like when they finally fixed Cyberpunk 2077, even though it was still super high demanding because that red engine is just it's a very demanding engine. I still played that game at 1440p at 120 frames per second for the most part, because I played with the settings to get it working just right, and that's back when I still had a 3070 Ti. So like you can do it easily. And I was putting footage on Twitter, and people was just like, "Yo, they're seeing my frame rate counter in the corner. Like, how are you playing at that frame rate?" And it's
a lot of people that don't know how to play with them settings. That's for real. Who that picture scared the most was people that don't know how to play with their settings, and people who don't have PCs, and then they wanted to roast PCs. Like, you gotta have it.
Pretty much.
I know how to work this thing.
As soon as I saw those settings, I was like, really? 1440p only to get 30 frames per second. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff that will get turned down to get 60 frames per second at 1440p.
Yeah.
I was like, that makes no sense now. It was like that whole 720p thing, that shouldn't even be an option. I mean, there's always going to be an option because you have the ability to make the game how you want to do it, but that should never be on a spec sheet.
Yeah, 30 frames should never be on the spec sheet. Come on, Frank.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing here, man? But
right.
It's always it's cool. It says Gregor says data miners ruin demos for PC. Yeah, that's definitely
true. They do.
That's definitely true. God. That is definitely true. Let's see. That guy Smitty said he's still getting it. He's still getting that game. I was like, listen, man, I'm getting Returnal. I'm not messing with Forspoken. First,
now, if you get a code, what if you get a creator code?
Nah, man.
You gonna give it to me?
Yeah,
give it to me.
Hey, I felt that.
Well, look, I would tell
I'm
you,
about to
I'm gonna
get
tell
me
you
one.
something. And slow mo, no, I'm not lying about this. I get a lot of games for free, and most of them I do
Yeah.
not play.
Yes, but also true. Yeah.
Because there's a difference. Like people don't understand. It's like there's a difference between you buying something yourself with your money and not playing it. Because most of the time you're going to play it if you actually spent money on it versus if it's just given to you. Unless it just happens to be a game that you're really really interested in. You're just gonna be like, you have no real ownership of really doing it. So it's like, that game could just kind of sit on the wayside until I get a chance to play it. If you ever play it, hint why slow mo still ain't playing. He ain't gonna never play Horizon Forbidden West. That game's in the bushes for him for the rest of his life.
Hey,
I
that's
think.
crazy.
He ain't.
I
Yo.
got a completely different take on that. I feel like when they give it to me, I want to play it more. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Really?
Nah.
Yeah, when people give me games, I play the whole thing. I ain't even gonna
Well,
hold
no,
you.
it's now. See, this is different. Now, I'm not talking about when, like, say if one of our followers or one of our friends in the chat are like slow mo, he buys me a game or something. I'm gonna play it because he spent money on me to play it. I'm talking
Yeah,
about
like Cyberpunk.
yeah.
Forte bought that for me. He lost a bet, but he bought that for me. So you know,
So he had to play it.
I struggled through it. Like I beat Cyberpunk when it had first came out. So literally, like I'm doing the final mission, and it's like bugging out to the point where I had to restart the game a dozen times to get the final mission to complete. So like I beat it the second time when it was fixed, but like yeah, it was painful, you know, to go through that. But when it comes for me with this, like if by some miracle Forspoken on PC isn't a buggy, unoptimized mess, I'm probably getting it. Because look, I played the demo on PlayStation and I enjoyed the combat. The dialogue is literally the worst dialogue I've heard in a game in the past decade. But
You ain't playing Saints Row.
You can get past that
You
30
ain't
frames
played
per
Saints
second
Row.
on PS5.
Right.
hold on, we said struggle.
I said if you think that's the worst dialogue, you ain't play Saints Row.
Oh, that game.
I didn't. I did.
Yeah,
well, I streamed a little bit of it.
worse.
I streamed a little bit of Saints Row, but I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't like some of that
looked
dialogue.
like it was written by Starbucks employees, dog. It was like they had a room full of diversity hires writing the script. And they are not the good ones. Like that was trash.
Yeah, look, it definitely look. Saints Row definitely was like dialogue wise was not good. But like it's not just the bad dialogue in Forspoken. It's also, and I don't blame the actress, Ella Belinsky, because I've seen her in good stuff before. I know she's a good actress, but we've all seen where a good actor or actress looks bad in a movie or something because of like poor direction. The directors don't know how to tell, like, this is how we want you to say this line. This is what's going on in this scene. And literally they're like in a booth in a sound booth, and they're like speaking into a microphone trying to emote and picture a scene without actually seeing that scene is difficult to do. And if you don't get good direction, you're going to get bad lines. And that's exactly what I heard from her. Lines where it's just like, it's either improperly placed in situations where she's emoting way too much.
Right.
And for no reason whatsoever, she's just standing in a little shack and she's like super excited out of nowhere. It's just like, what was that? Or trash one-liners that make like no sense whatsoever, and it's just like it sounds like an old person trying to talk like someone who's 18, 19 years old, like their kind of language and everything, and their slang, and you don't understand how those words work at all. It's just really bad writing from old people, and it's look, the plot might be great because we know Amy Hennig consulted on it, and so did the writer from Book of Eli. I can't remember his name. So they consulted on it, but like I do consultations in IT all the time. The people that I consult with, I give them recommendations to make their network better. that doesn't mean they're going to actually use it.
Right.
Like, so
It
like,
definitely
ignore
doesn't mean that,
everything.
right?
so Amy Hennig could be like, your plot's trash. This is where like you got plot holes here and there. None of this makes sense. These character motivations are all over the place. Try this. And they could be like, thank you, Amy. And as soon as she leaves, all right, we're gonna still do that because we ain't changing. We ain't bringing nobody else back in the booth to rerun lines again, and we're not changing up our cutscene. So it's gonna be what it is. Like, so just because we hear that she consulted on it or they consulted on it doesn't mean that it's going to be good. I actually kind of feel it's somewhat misleading because I remember when I first heard about her involvement in it, they tried to make it seem like she was on the narrative team, but she wasn't. So it's just like, I don't like that. Like, don't be kind of, mislead people. You use someone's, name and reputation to kind of boost your game up. All that said, if a game's got fire gameplay, which I think it does, I really enjoy the gameplay. I can ignore dumb dialogue. I can just be listening to music.
Like, I play a lot of anime games that got real cool combat, and boy, I don't be understanding a lick of what they talking about,
Right.
buddy. I'm like, man, forget this dialogue. This is fun to play. Like, yeah, so that's the type of game. I mean, that's why I'm really into it and really excited about it. I ain't gonna lie. I can ignore that dialogue.
Right.
For sure.
I'm with you.
I think a lot of people will. A lot of people will.
We can definitely do that. All right. Moving on to the next topic. Suicide Squad's becoming a games as a service. So it's been I don't know if it's been confirmed, but there's been a lot of leaked footage out there or screenshots of battle passes. So as soon as you see something like that, you instantly think games as a service and stuff like that. So SloMo, if this game is exactly what that is, how
it is.
It is. Also, it is exactly what it's going to be.
Something to kind of like elaborate on. They was always announced to be a live service game.
Yeah.
So that was already a part of it. Not every live service game has a battle pass. Like the Division 1 and 2 didn't have a battle pass.
Which is shocking that it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, like Destiny didn't have a battle pass for a long. Does Destiny even have a battle pass?
It does now.
Okay, it does now, but it didn't for a long time. So just because you're a live service game doesn't mean you absolutely have a battle pass. But it is something that is more prevalent in games that are free. If it's a free to play game, of course the developers gotta make money somehow,
right?
And they usually do that through some kind of battle pass that you work towards getting cosmetics and stuff like that, and they offer you other cosmetics that are even better than the ones that are in the battle pass. We all know the game design there, the monetary design there, but I've always been kind of leery with games that are completely full price and didn't have a battle pass. Like at least with Call of Duty, DMZ and Warzone are free,
right?
But like this is a full price game. It also has a battle pass at the same time. And outside of that, my biggest concern with Suicide Squad is that we've only seen like snippets of seconds of gameplay from all the trailers they've shown. They've all shown a lot of and they've been funny, but a lot of CG trailers, a lot of cutscenes from the game, but very little gameplay. And when you're this close to launch, that's always kind of a red flag to me.
I agree with that, bro.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I want to put the games as a service into a different perspective though, real quick. Like, do y'all think a single player game could ever succeed as its games as a service? Like, if done right, like, what's y'all definition of done right games as a service?
Ooh,
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite.
No, but as a single player game.
A single player game.
Because when I think about that, I think of what if instead of are we talking about, y'all know mods?
Are we
right?
talking about yeah?
Like what if the developers made stuff like mods, but they made it as games as a service updates? Do you think that would work for a single player game?
I think, and this might sound weird. I think the only developer that might be able to do that would be like Bethesda.
They tried. They did try.
They did.
Right, yeah. They tried to monetize the mods, and people got upset because it's like these were community made mods that the people who made them. You're monetizing mods that you didn't actually pay the people who made them, and now you're going to benefit off of them. So, like, I remember that whole controversy about that.
But if they would have done that right, do you think that would have worked?
It probably would have. I think it would have. Yeah, and then I think that's something they might need to think about implementing with Starfield, as well as making sure that like the mods that are made on PC are supported on Xbox, because Xbox closed platform. You're not going to be able to just get a mod the way as easily as you can on PC, but they need to make sure, especially considering it's a Bethesda game, so it's going to have issues, and a lot of those issues are going to get fixed by the Bethesda community and not necessarily the Bethesda devs. So they need to make sure that stuff is in there. But I think
it could
Bethesda
work.
might be the only way that could work.
I think it could have worked. Because it's going back to a game that we're going to talk about later in Halo. My biggest thing with that, even though it does have a multiplayer component, I always thought with the battle pass that they had in that game and the customizations and cosmetics you could buy, it would be real cool to allow you to be able in co-op to use your actual Spartan in the single player campaign, and you will be able to see your character, everything you did with that character. And I always thought that would be a really, really good way. And that's basically them just bringing more customization to the single player by doing that. And then there's other games,
But there are a lot of people that felt that was one of them, that like you should have been able to bring. You should have been able to just bring your own like look to your Spartan from multiplayer in there anyway. Like I kind of felt that way. I also kind of felt, as I was playing the network co-op with some friends. I was playing 4-player co-op for the Halo Infinite campaign, and we're all like 4 Master Chiefs running around, and it's like the only way I can determine the difference between my friend Numsy and my friend Jones is the name above their head. And it's just like, what if we could just use our multiplayer, actual Spartans with their unique armors and skins and colors and armor cores and stuff, and it's just, I would know that's Numsy because he's got some freaky, ugly, yellow-green monstrosity of a paint job on this Spartan right now. Like that would have been, and I think that you could try to find a way to monetize that, but I think in those ways you'll get backlash from the community, because they'll be just like that's just something that I should have had for free. If you really look at think about some of the complaints that Halo Infinite had overall. People remember playing Halo Combat Evolved and just being able to change the color of your Spartan in multiplayer. They remember it. It was free. It's always been free. And then you get the Halo Infinite, and I got to grind a battle pass just to get a paint job on my Spartan. Even then, my Spartan armor still look dingy, dirty, and scraped up and everything. And the only ones that look clean and pristine are the ones that are in the store. It's like, it's like I do agree with you guys that like it's possible to do it. I just kind of feel like the possibility to do it has less to do with the developer and more to do with the community. I think if the community is open to it, then it can happen.
Well, yeah, you got to think something like, even knowing that it's a massive multiplayer online game, Final Fantasy 14 is pretty much that. It's a story-driven game that's a paid-for service, just like WoW. So we had services that were built around that, playing with multiple people. Now, could it work in a single-player environment by itself? Like, there's no component to multiplayer or anything?
No, I wouldn't say no component to multiplayer, but it is a component to community.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So if you're thinking about games, so we already seen instances where that could actually happen, like with those 2 games I just mentioned. And then if you think of, I feel like Fortnite is like, if Fortnite wanted to do a single player something type experience where it was just co-op, I think they can do it. Borderlands could definitely do it. All they got to do is just find a way to get the story coherent enough where people aren't like rolling their eyes halfway through it like they did the last couple of them.
Yeah, Gearbox sucks at stories now. They
That's
just
what the
suck.
problem is. It's like because they have the gunplay and they have the
They
fun
need to offer
factor.
Anthony Birch whatever he wants
Yeah,
to
they
come
do.
back.
They do.
Because
They
he
do.
left after Borderlands 2 and they ain't had a good story or antagonist since then.
Right.
They
So.
they keep trotting Handsome Jack out. Handsome Jack died. And
He died
Borderlands
3 times
They
already.
keep trotting him out somehow. Like, oh, he's an AI now. He's a clone. He's a reanimated corpse. It's just like, bro, let it go.
Let it go.
Like,
So
they don't know how to write anything.
At all.
And that world is so unique. It's like a balancing act of sadistic torture, violence with somehow it's funny, and it's like you kind of feel guilty for laughing at some of the jokes about Jack popping some dude's eye out with a rusty spoon, and he's laughing, but the way he's laughing about it makes you laugh about it, and it's like it's very unique but smart writing that works, and it's like you look at Borderlands 3, and those twins are just cringe. There's nothing funny about them. They're just annoying. And it's like it's not you can hate a villain, but they nailed it because you're supposed to hate that villain. But like that didn't work with like people hated those twins because they were annoying and they couldn't stand them, not because of the things that they did. They were just cringe. And so it's like it's the wrong kind of hate that you want. It's the right kind of hate is like I can't wait to go find Handsome Jack so I can put a bullet in his face because of him killing Roland in Borderlands 2. Spoilers. The game's been out for like 500 years. So what? But when the twins killed Maya in Borderlands 3, people was just like,
I did not care.
It was just like, are you serious? Like that's it. Like get out of here. Like with the cringe YouTube YouTube channel kind of like edit they did on the murder, and it was just like this sucks. This isn't like I don't feel motivated to destroy them. I feel motivated to uninstall the game. It's just like it's different, and so I'm sorry, tangent there. Gearbox sucks
You're
at
fine.
writing. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, we should probably get back to Suicide Squad though.
Yeah. It's all about games and service. No one really cares about Suicide Squad. The game. I will tell you this though.
I care.
The game looks phenomenal. The game looks amazing. I will say that.
Well, the cutscenes look amazing.
That's
we
true.
barely seen
You're
any
right.
gameplay.
That's
That's
right.
that's my
true.
main complaint. We
Yeah,
barely
that's
seen
right.
any
That's
gameplay.
true. That's the thing I always talk about. Like, why did Microsoft go out there and parade State of Decay 3 out there the way they did, knowing that game ain't gonna look nothing like that trailer they showed?
Mm-hmm.
So I do agree with that. Well, with that Suicide Squads, who has it on their radar? Who's gonna pick it up day one?
I have it on my radar. Picking it up day one is dependent upon me actually seeing some actual gameplay that isn't like highly edited cuts left and right in a trailer that's 95% CG cutscenes. Like when I see some actual gameplay, then I can make my decision then.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, with all the games coming out, bro, that is really not one of the ones I'm super geeked for, man. I'm at the point with that game, like if I ain't getting the code, I probably won't play it, bro.
Right. Yeah, I with you, SloMo. I call that highly edited, charged gameplay because it's like they put a lot of energy behind those type of gameplays, and it makes you just feel like you're more powerful than like the way that they perceive you in that game, and it's kind of crazy how they do it. Now, I used to be against you on that, but now the more and more I see it now, I'm like, I would like just to see what it looks like from the perspective of playing the game now.
Yeah, and look, this game's gonna sell because it's a DC property, and those characters are popular. You got Harley Quinn in it; she's super popular. You got Superman as a villain, Flash as a villain, Wonder Woman as a people are going
The
to eat
voice
that
of
up.
Batman in there too. So yeah.
Exactly. Rest in peace to Conroy who passed away. This is the last work as Batman that he's done. There are going to be people who are going to buy it solely off of that alone,
Right.
regardless of how well or good or bad the game is. So the game's going to sell. It's just whether it's going to be any good is kind of still the question that's up there. I mean, look, that's it. We got to give Rocksteady their flowers.
Absolutely.
They were the ones that really kind of made superhero games. People actually respect superhero games. Arkham Asylum back then, all superhero games were they were very much hit or miss, and usually you got some marketed machine piece of crap that was just coming out because there was a movie attached to it. But Arkham Asylum wasn't attached to anything. It was just really good, and it was and that changed the way we view superhero games at that point. So Rocksteady is an awesome developer. It's just, I mean, so Crystal Dynamics is an awesome developer too. They just was told to make a game that wasn't suited for them. So I don't know if this is going to be suited for Rocksteady.
That's true. All right, moving on from that one. We're second from the last topic. Now, on this topic, I want to kind of separate the 343 side of it a little bit, because that's going to kind of tie into the last topic with everything that's happening there. But Microsoft is laying off over 10,000 workers, which is affecting multiple divisions inside of Microsoft, which include HoloLens, Microsoft Edge, the marketing team, 343i, and Bethesda. Now, there's a lot of different tech companies doing this right now. You got Amazon out there laying off 18,000 workers and stuff. So this isn't nothing new for big tech to be doing moves like this. What do we think of these? What do we think of this move, and how do we think it's going to affect, 343 and Bethesda being under Xbox? How do we think this is going to affect mostly Bethesda when it comes to their games coming out in the future, if it's going to affect them at all?
I'm sorry. I had a text message there. Can you repeat that? My bad. Or if Struggle could answer it, because
Struggle, you go ahead.
I really don't never know how layoffs are going to affect people, because I don't know who got fired. They could be firing all people that are underperforming and making these games bad, or they could be firing people that was really the best one in the office. I don't know if they firing janitors or, I mean, call center people. I have no idea. It's going to affect anybody. 10K is a lot of people, and I'm sorry they lost their jobs, but man, I really can't call it, bro. Yeah. I don't know who left. Even when big wigs leave, nothing really changes. So, bro, I don't know what's gonna change with them leaving.
Right. Yeah. And the biggest thing is, it just ultimately comes down to you just never want to see people have to go through this, but it just happens to be the way of everything going right now. Everybody's kind of preparing for a financial recession that is doomed to come due to inflation on everything in the world and everything. And it just sucks when it's kind of tied to, monetary gains that people need to make money. And, some of these people probably made, well, not even probably, they made dang good money working at these different companies and stuff. SloMo.
Yeah.
So the question was, the question was, with all, we're going to separate 343 from this, because we're going to talk about them mainly in the next topic. But
right.
When it comes to the layoffs, it affected the HoloLens team, Microsoft Edge marketing, Bethesda, and 343. So we're basically just going to focus on, Microsoft in general, but focus more on Bethesda. They have a lot of big games. Microsoft is really depending on them for 2023 and beyond. Do we think that any of this is going to affect Bethesda? Do we think we're going to see any? Do you think this has something to do with maybe Starfield getting pushed out of that 12-month window maybe to the end of the year? Or do you think that this is pretty much just the fact that businesses are just dropping a lot of weight going on and through the rest of this year before everything starts to happen?
I think this is more of a much bigger macro level issue. We know that Amazon had to lay off 18,000. I think Meta laid off 12,000. That's more than what Microsoft is laying off with the 10,000. it is a symptom of the industry and the market where the economy is, and us kind of dealing with a somewhat post pandemic society, even though COVID is still in full effect out here. But the kind of the people being stuck inside their homes aspect of it is gone. The increase in revenues and record profits that these tech companies were getting is also gone. And so, and them ramping up, and I think the reported number was over the past 2 years, Microsoft has hired an additional 7,700 employees, and now they're laying off 10,000. Like, this was unfortunately kind of something that was going to happen when you deal with these kind of corporations. Are they going to allow their profits to suffer to hold on to people that they would say we no longer need?
Right.
No, they're not, and it's unfortunate, because Satya Nadella got a 55 million bonus last year.
Yeah, he gonna get a big one this year too.
He gonna get a big one this year too, and even though, like, I know people keep like making this parallel, like, oh, you're putting down $70 billion to get Activision Blizzard King, who have 10,000 employees themselves, and you just sold 10,000, like you just laid off 10,000 people. Was it like that? There are two completely separate things.
I don't think
like
people
they didn't
realize that. You know what? And I want you to speak to that. I don't think people really realize that if you work in any type of company, even if you do any type of management, you understand that there's a difference between your budget and your payroll. And your payroll is completely separate from your budget. And if your payroll, they ain't gonna tell you to stop selling less stuff. But if you ain't making it, but if you ain't seeing as many customers walk through the door, they surely gonna tell you to cut your payroll. And if your payroll is astronomically high due to the and I think that due to the inflation of just the demand of workers and people being able to do a lot of stuff from home and everything, because I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of this this movement came from people that were more not in the office, more people that they can just say, we had these people on deck to be able to do minute tasks and stuff that anybody could really do, but it was just easier to have them do it while they were sitting at home versus coming into the main office. But it's unfortunate.
No, if you look at these departments like HoloLens, like, we know someone who used to work in HoloLens. We do. So, like, HoloLens is ramping down. That person told us that, like, the work that they were working on was pretty much over. And so the contract was about to be over. So they were going to get rid of those people anyway. And I hope I'm not speaking out of turn in regards to that, because I don't know the full story there. But essentially, like, those people were going to end up having to get new jobs eventually. The way the tech industry is like it's going through some different things. Usually tech is kind of insulated from the other issues with the economy, because look, everyone needs the internet. Every company needs to have their website maintained. Everybody needs to have servers that run things, and having cybersecurity to protect their proprietary software or their product from hackers and whatnot. Everyone needs guys like me, essentially. Right. But when you're a tech company and you're ramping up and you're doing all kinds of new things, and then some things don't turn out the way you thought they did, or you hired a ton of people because things were going great and looking great, and you're like, oh yeah, we can grow, we can do this, we can do that, and then turns out that was way more temporary than you thought it was going to be.
Right.
And now you don't need all those people. You're just going to start letting people go, and you're going to look at which will lead into kind of our next topic. You're going to look at the worst performing aspects of your business.
Yeah.
And then those are the ones that are going to get cut. Kind of what Struggle was talking about. Like, he don't know who got cut. But it could be the people that just like, hey, the guy that shows up late to work every day and
like
barely
me,
gets
they've been gone.
barely gets any work done. But hey, look, you're expendable, buddy. If that's you, it could be, the guy that you could be a great worker, but your job is your skill set is so limited in a very narrow way that they can see you being expendable because there's other people that can do your job. Maybe not as good as you, but they can do a good enough job that they can let you go, recoup some of that salary that they were paying you in addition to the medical benefits they had to pay you, and then have someone else do your job and their job. That happens all the time.
Right.
I know it personally. So I've been on both sides of it. I've been laid off before, and I have dealt with the after effects of working in a company that has done a ton of layoffs or let a lot of people go, and they give you the whole, hey, yeah, look, we gonna hire people to replace those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't because you're doing that work and you did a good enough job that they said, well, do we need to hire another person? SloMo is handling that and this so well.
I hate that.
I hate it too because it's the corporate world, it's so disrespectful and minimizes the work-life balance that you're upsetting for your employees when you lie to them and say that you're going to do that when you don't. But this is like Microsoft is no different than anyone else. If y'all thought that they were like this altruistic Mother Teresa version of a tech company or something, wrong. They're not. They're very little difference between Meta and Amazon with them. They just had to lay off less people.
Right.
Still a ton of people.
It's very much a ton of people. I mean, the biggest thing that I take from it, and shout out to who said it. Oh, Pixel said, your job's going to disappear soon. Forte Digital wins hands down. Listen, I am not going to disagree with that. At some point, people are going to have to make some decisions, but I also just means you got to start making plans. If you start seeing the writing on the wall in certain scenarios, it's kind of your responsibility to make sure that you're in a situation where you can either make some changes and do something different, or be ready to move on to something else. But nobody ever wants to be in that situation. And that's where a lot of these people see themselves at this point. I just think ultimately the market wins out, and as long as you're working for somebody, this will always be a scenario that is always possible. And some of these jobs are life-changing positions for people, but it doesn't mean that that's going to be something that is guaranteed to you forever. You just gotta go with the punches and stuff. But the last thing I do want to ask you about this topic is with the Bethesda side of it. Do we think that any of these, because we know we keep hearing Microsoft talk about how Bethesda works autonomously to themselves, they manage themselves and everything. Could it be a situation where, they manage themselves, but there is a lot of overhead or a lot of redundancies at both companies when it comes to HR, when it comes to legal and everything like that? Do you think there's a possible where Microsoft said do we really need a legal team for Bethesda when Bethesda could just use Microsoft's legal team? Do you think that could that kind of be part of it too?
I would kind of think that all that has already been done, like the redundancies, but although, for example, I remember hearing that Bethesda would still do ZeniMax Media would still do all their own marketing.
Right. They
still do their own marketing, but then if you get a situation like this, then you reevaluate that. You got to cut 10,000 people.
Right.
Do we really need Bethesda to do their own marketing? Because we could, like you just said, we could do their marketing for them.
I'd rather them cut Microsoft's marketing and let Bethesda do the marketing.
Hey, Hey, facts.
Microsoft cut your marketing and let Bethesda do all of Xbox's marketing going forward.
I mean, maybe maybe you have a point, but it's just like somebody going when you got so many redundancies, somebody's going like that's going to happen. What do you think is going to happen? And look, this is a sad truth that people need to hear. If the ABK deal gets approved, there will be layoffs.
Oh, it will be massive.
There will be layoffs.
What's the ABK deal?
Sorry, Activision Blizzard King.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like if they get that deal, like Activision Blizzard King had their own legal team, their own HR, their own supposedly HR. Don't get me started. Their own marketing and all that stuff, and now those are redundancies. You don't need all those people for that. Look, Sony did that. Remember the beginning of this generation when they did some consolidating and started they stopped having like these little fiefdoms around the world where Sony Japan was doing their own thing and Sony Europe was doing their own thing and Sony USA was doing their own thing, and now it's all under one region. It's kind of like directing them all.
Right.
Well, a lot of the redundancies with having those multiple regions, those people got cut.
Mm-hmm.
Our good friend Chrono, who's been on the show before, was a sales rep for Sony, and the new leadership at Sony, when they went into this new generation, said we don't think we need sales reps no more.
Yeah, they cut their whole marketing.
The whole team?
Yeah, they cut the whole
all of them.
They cut the whole marketing, world marketing team for Sony Interactive when it comes to in-store marketing. They cut that whole division. It is no longer a thing.
I hate to see people just be told they obsolete now.
Right.
That's crazy,
right.
Bro.
But it's the unfortunate truth of the corporate world, the corporate lifestyle. Unfortunately, it's just it is what it is. It's just like if I worked at Activision, and if I'm an engineer, I'm probably like, all right, well, maybe being acquired by Microsoft would make things better, maybe. But if I'm in HR or marketing, go ahead and update my resume right now. Let me update my resume.
I will say with that experience, they could probably land a job where somebody that need them.
Absolutely.
Most people will land a job. It's just the fact that those are like the most expendable positions inside of a company. It's like because we can. Even if they wanted to just let people go just to hire, rehire at a cheaper rate, they would do that just to save money. It's like, well, we do need HR marketer. We need HR, but we don't need to be paying this person $200,000 a year to do it. We could go get somebody not fresh out of college or something. Somebody that probably worked in another company and probably paid them $100 or $150 and saved that $50,000. And at a certain point, you got to think companies. Microsoft's $1 trillion company, but they penny pinch just like everybody else.
They became a $1 trillion company.
They stay a trillion.
That's how they became a $1 trillion company. So people keep looking at that and be like, well, they got all this money, and it goes, like you said, it goes back to the whole $69 billion. Well, the reason they can spend $69 billion is because they did things like this. They cut the fat where they needed to cut the fat, and they rehired at cheaper wage limits, and then they just kept building up within until they get to a certain point where they just got to do it all over again. Some people are lucky to make it all the way through their careers working at these companies and never have to worry about getting the axe, but there is always going to be, every generation, there will always be a situation where these companies are going to do something to downsize, and depending on how important your position is, you could either find yourself still a part of the company or not a part of the company, and that's pretty much how it is.
And I, before we move on off this topic, I would say always have a plan B. Always, never feel like you are so secure and your position with a company is so secure that you're bulletproof. You are not.
You are not
bulletproof.
You are not.
No matter how important you think you are, no matter how much you think you are the glue to that operation, somehow, some way, they'll figure they can find a way to work without you. So always have a plan B of something that you can fall back on at least temporarily in order to, just have your resume ready and have some ideas out there. Always do networking. Networking is a skill. Not the IT networking I do, but like networking, like old school networking, knowing people who work in your industry that also might be looking for someone, letting them know how good you are at what you do, and that every now and then, they may, reach out and say how things going over there, or you may reach out and say how things going over there, just to kind of have an idea of what's out there, so that if this does happen to you and you are unfortunately one of the people that are laid off from your company, after the shock wears off, you already got a game plan.
Right. Well, moving on to the final topic, which is kind of continuation of the previous one. Joseph Staten is leaving 343i and returning back to Xbox Global Publishing. On top of the layoffs that happened at 343, and I want to go over one insert from Patrick Warren where and this is unfortunately the bad side of layoffs. It's the good side and the bad side, because the bad side is people like this lose their jobs, but the good side is we get a chance to see exactly what the inner workings of what was going on inside the company. Because when you lose your job, you ain't got no NDA tied to you. You kind of just be like, I don't care. I'm just gonna tell you exactly what's going on. And talking about 343, he says the layoffs at 343 shouldn't have happened, and Halo Infinite should be in a better state. The reason for both of these things is incompetent leadership up to during the Halo Infinite development.
This is the dev that now works at Respawn.
Yes, this is the one that works at Respawn now.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because I actually have something to read from a source, a leaker of Halo stuff, who has been right like 99% of the time, and it's pretty long, but like I'll let you get done.
Yeah, you can get
and then I'll read what they have said about, like, it just looks like the best summary of what has happened at 343 due to our previous topic of the layoffs.
Right.
But go ahead.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And developing causing massive stress on those working hard to make Halo the best it can be. He continued to say the people I worked with every day were passionate about Halo and wanted to make everything, make something great for the fans. They helped push for a better Halo and got laid off for it. Devs still looking for work hard on them. Dreams look at Forge. Be kind to them during this awful time. And that is the unfortunate side of what happens with these layoffs, because they did hit 343. Joseph Staten is no longer with 343, helping manage the game and help manage the company. He's back to global publishing for Xbox again. And some people are saying, and my co-host, I'm not going to speak for him, but a lot of people are saying that this is like kind of almost the end for Halo. And
No, I wouldn't say that.
No, some people are. I have to say, not you.
Some people are.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm asking you, or I'm asking both of you guys, whoever wants to go first, what do you think these moves actually mean? And then SloMo, I want you to go into your talk with the other person that was talking about this stuff. But what do you think, just on the surface level, him leaving the company and then developers talking about stuff like this going on at the company?
I'll go. I'll just say my piece real quick, and then like Struggle can say his piece, and then I'll read what this leaker is saying. But I don't think this is the end of Halo. I think this is the end of the game design, the traditional game design of what we expected from Halo. A big campaign, a multiplayer, Forge, campaign co-op, like the things that we were upset at 343 for not having in Halo Infinite at launch, and was like, how dare you release this game without these things at launch. Right. I think a lot of those things, this would be the last time we see some of that stuff. Struggle, what are your thoughts, man?
I ain't gonna cap. I personally think it's over, man. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of my Halo homies really was done in by this game, and I feel like if dude leaving and if he was the one in control of this stuff, and maybe, but we don't know if he was the one like setting it up like that, do we?
Joseph Staten came in to try to fix a lot
Oh,
of the problems that were occurring. Forte, you got
what did he fix?
give me a second, because like Forte, it's like you. What is this on the screen? Oh, never mind. Sorry. Um.
It was
Uh.
it was the it was recording the dashboard for some reason on that part.
Oh. um. Joseph Staten was one of the original founders of Halo. Like he was the lead on the narrative team for Halo Combat Evolved, the very first Halo game. So everyone, when he got brought in very late in the development of Halo Infinite, everybody was like, okay, sigh of relief. Joseph's going to fix this. And he was able to get the Xbox leadership to do a delay of 1 year, like that. It not being a launch game, which would have been an even bigger disaster than it coming out in 2021. It not being a launch game is because of Joseph Staten. He fought to get it delayed so he could try to fix the campaign, because the campaign was busted. And then what we didn't know was that the multiplayer also had netcode issues, desync issues, and no content. But like that got overshadowed by the campaign having crafting in it and all kinds of other stuff that wasn't Halo. So the reason why the game is even in the state that it is in today is because of Joseph Staten. When him leaving is like
The only good thing left, bro.
yeah, that's it. That's exactly it.
They
Struggle.
didn't
It's
really
like
do too much great. Like,
the only person that's holding this ship together basically just took a
single,
lifeboat and just rolled
yeah.
out. And so it's like, oh man, who is going to be left to take care of this? And it's that's where it is. And I do fully understand people feeling like this is the end of Halo. This is the end of like they're just not going to make them anymore. Like what like it's hard to fathom Halo being anything other than what we've known it to be for 2 decades.
That's
But
like, what is it gonna do to innovate? There's so many more shooters out there that everybody's on now. Like it didn't have as much competition back then. Like, you know what I mean? Now it's messing up in front of everybody's face, and it's gonna take at least a couple years to get it right, if they get it right.
Yeah.
Bro, it's like, what's the point of? I mean, coming out with another Halo?
Well, see, so this is, I would say, if they did it correctly in the first place, they wouldn't be in the position that they were at. So it's like, I think that like if they came out with an awesome Halo campaign that had co-op there at launch, that had Forge at launch, that had all the stuff that we expected, you got the best gunplay that 343 has ever done. Halo Infinite plays great, feels great, everyone loves it, and it's still like 5,000 people playing it on Steam. Then you look at it like, there's really nothing else we can do here. We've done everything we can. This is the best Halo that we have ever made, and no one cares. Maybe it is the old man shooter. Maybe it just isn't. Yeah, and look, in a lot of ways it is. It does a lot of things that other shooters today don't do. Like you ADS and you get hit and knocks you out of ADS. Like that's stuff that, like, if you're a Call of Duty head, you hate that. But or if you sprint, you show up on radar. So it's like you get penalized for doing things that other games do. But
Yeah.
I mean, I love that. I love that because I'm a Halo dude.
They don't match the criteria of people that play shooters now. Like it's a very small majority of people that like that.
Yeah,
and
that
it ain't gonna be as a top.
That very well may be the case. That it has passed its time. The newer generation of gamers don't appeal to that anymore. But it's like they didn't prove the hypothesis because they delivered a incomplete experience that wasn't ready. And then, like, there are gonna be people that be like, if you would gave us a good campaign, we would have been back.
How many more millions you gonna put in to prove that again? I mean, or try to prove that again?
Well, this is where, okay, so I think this is the perfect time to read what this leaker, his name is Bathrobe Spartan, podcast Halo, off of Twitter, and apparently like everyone that I know that knows like legit information that have told me things about 343 before they have come out, and then like the very next day the news hits. Like, these are people who legit know things, and they say this guy legit knows things. So like, I say all that just to say that, like, to read what he had to say about this. So this dude says the dismissals within 343 Industries are unfortunately the result of poor management of the studio and its workforce by the people in charge. If this could have been avoided, the impact on the strategy remains minimal. Multiplayer oriented content. Now, it is translated from French, so it takes me a moment to get it translated through Google Translate. But it says, before talking about the future of 343 Industries, let's first talk about the impact on the studio's current strategy, the state of which we have already mentioned to you previously. And it says, if we put aside the very sad human toll of these layoffs, the strategy initiated by 343 in 2022 is ultimately only slightly impacted. Produce content for the multiplayer portion of the title to the detriment of single player narrative content. So essentially, and what he's saying, in this past year, they have delivered 0 single player narrative content. As we know, everything has been multiplayer centric. And so, based upon the fact that, like, they laid off the entire campaign team, they laid off 60 people, and reportedly I've heard they may end up laying off more because they had contractors that had contracts, and they kind of ended those contracts early. So essentially, 343 has lost a third of their workforce. And so, with that being known, you already had a bunch of people who were previously on the campaign content that started working on your multiplayer content because you needed more bodies in that arena to fix that stuff. So it says, as such, these headcount losses will not impact the studio's current plans for Halo Infinite for 2023 and beyond. All content planned for this year, future seasons, modes, and elements are maintained and are not disrupted. So, like, Forte, remember when I said that we were not getting campaign DLC for Halo Infinite?
Yep, I remember because I said it too.
Yep. And remember when people was like, SloMo, you don't know what you're talking about. They wouldn't dare do that. Well, this proves it. They had already made the decision to not do campaign DLC. Everything that they planned on doing for Halo Infinite going forward was multiplayer centric, and none of them, literally eliminating an entire team their only job was to make campaign, changes anything they had planned for Halo Infinite, which goes back to what I said, that they planned on making a whole new Halo game with a whole new campaign.
Yep.
And then but that was a shot in the dark, because, like, as Struggle says, and I'm fairly certain there's a number of people at 343 that felt the same way that Struggle has felt. This is not going to work, even if we do the best campaign ever. It is a non-live service experience that we can't get redundant revenue off of.
Yep.
It's a one-a-doner.
Yep.
So,
it's a box product.
Right. So anyway, it says this will include all Halo Infinite related projects being worked on by 343 and external studios. Forge by Skybox Labs, maps and content by Sparasoft, modes and elements by Certain Affinity. Come to find out, Sparasoft did the season 2 for Halo Infinite. You know who's not working on Halo Infinite? 343. It's like, what is 343 doing? It's almost it's almost as if they don't have any developers no more. Interesting, right? This goes on to say that for your information, these layoffs are not the only loss of 343 Industries. Between this, the positions transferred to other teams within Microsoft, and the non-revenue of external contractors, 343 is actually losing 1/3 of its workforce, like I said. This is, on the other hand, these departures mainly impacting the teams in charge of the production of visual and narrative content for the title, or the result of two divergent visions within 343. One, the continuation of the narrative universe versus the financial need of the studio, because Halo Infinite did not meet revenue goals even remotely. Like we all kind of figured that. It says a small team have drawn up the possible plans for the continuation of the major 117 adventure, supported by Mr. Staten, then proposing several short DLCs for Infinite, leading to a bigger expansion for the game via a new campaign within it. The new management team of 343, following the departure of Bonnie Ross, which is like that black dude, Pierre, had drawn up another assessment of the campaign and the single-player enabler content offered by Halo Infinite, unfortunately against the latter and rather for the benefit of the multiplayer part. According to these, narrative single-player content has proven to be difficult to produce over the past few years, not offering single strong player retention, not allowing viable monetization for the sustainability of the studio and the teams. These are all the arguments that go against doing single player games, if you notice, right?
Yeah.
It says a decision would then have been made not to continue production of narrative single player content for Halo Infinite or for Halo in general at this stage. So faced with the financial expectations that Halo Infinite did not meet, the leads of 343 Industries were forced to act. And it says these dismissals are the consequence of several factors: Microsoft's overall preparation for a possible recession, the high operating costs for the studio for financial objectives not achieved, multiplayer focused strategy for the future of Halo Infinite. 343 Industries isn't going away. However, the game development part of the studio is going to fade away. Notice how I say like all the work that's being done on Halo Infinite was being done by external studios, and none of it's mentioned what 343 was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
As a game development studio, 343 is fading away, but it's not going away because it looks like what this next part is the projects in the future of the studio will thus reside in a 2-point strategy: coordinate Halo Infinite follow-up, franchise the Halo license to other studios.
Oh, this is
So
a lot of
Just a
people.
skeleton
A lot
crew
of people
just doing
wanted
nothing.
this.
yeah, well, see, here's the thing: is that they're letting go so many people, struggle that it looks like everyone they're letting go. Well, I mean, of course, they're going to keep the people that are still working on Halo Infinite multiplayer, for now at least. But it looks like as time goes on, and Halo Infinite starts to die down, which I mean, look, it's already on life support as is with its player base, that you're going to start needing less and less of those people. It looks like they are structuring 343 to be more of a licensing arm of Halo and less of a development studio. if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because because they're using already 3 different support studios to make the content of the game right now. In the future content,
I mean,
Pixel
a quarter of their studios were contracted anyway.
Yeah, they as one of the criticisms of them from the former developers was they relied very too much on contractors to begin with, and with Microsoft's mandate that a contractor can't work for more than 18 months when it takes like on average 5 years to make a AAA game. It's like that's not tenable for you to do that. They should have hired a lot of those people on as full-time employees to avoid that, but
you know they don't do that. Come on, now.
Hey, look,
contract jobs I didn't have. Was like, yeah, I'm gonna get hired on. They're like, bye. Oh, okay.
Right.
It says, oh yeah, by the way, Pixelbit asked me for the Pixel. I sent you this thread on Twitter in a DM. It says coordinate Halo Infinite follow-up by keeping several people in charge of project management and balancing Halo Infinite. 343 Industries can delegate content production to external studios, as was already the case for Season 2. As a reminder, a large part of the content of Season 2, whether it is a question of multiplayer maps as well as elements in the store and the battle pass, were designed by Sparasoft as well as Certain Affinity. This type of production will continue for 2023. already in 2020, Xbox Publishing had approached other studios to imagine the design of a new Halo experience, delegated but supervised by Xbox Game Studios and 343 Industries. So 3 years ago, they put this in motion to try to get different experiences that were different than traditional first-person shooter stuff. And look, Joseph Staten has gone back to Xbox Publishing. What if that's what he's doing? Look, now this is me theorizing. What if that's what he's doing? He's working with external studios that are not within Xbox first party on Halo content.
I mean, when I read this, that was the first conclusion I came to, because if they're fading away the publishing side or the studio side or the game making side of 343, there's no reason for him to be there.
Right. And so that's just right, yeah, 343 isn't doing it no more. So he's going to go to where, like, because like the Xbox publishing group is what the only team within Microsoft that works with third-party studios.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what you're going to be doing from now on, then yeah, it would make sense that you would go back to your previous job where that's what you were doing previously. So I mean, it all kind of makes sense, and they just kind of like it happened now because they had a external need to get rid of people, unfortunately, lay people off, downsize the force. And again, as we said earlier, in regards to the last topic, when you're doing layoffs, you look at the end of the bottom of your list of what you value. And I'm not trying to say I don't want to sound disrespectful. I'm not saying that the people who got let go were not valued. They were valuable people. They are, talented people. But if their future goals aren't aligned with needing you for those future goals, then you become expendable.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, the thing I would say is you're right about that. Those people are valuable, but what's more valuable than those people? The IP and the IP that they're making. And if that IP is not producing the way they want it to, then that's a failure not only on the game's part, but it's also a failure on the people that actually made the game too. So if if they're not doing what they need to do to get the game where it needs to be, then unfortunately they're gonna, meet the sword just like everybody else.
Yeah. And now look, this thing is super long, and I'm not going to read all of it because it's like there's still another like
it's long.
There's still another like
statement.
Yeah, okay. There's like 12 other tweets here. I'm just going to read this last one that kind of like really sums up everything here, and then because the rest of it just talks about how they think they're keeping the engineers at 343 that built the slipspace engine because they want to kind of like use that going forward. But it also kind of makes sense that they would all the talk about Unreal Engine 5 because Unreal Engine is the most popular game engine that's out there. So if you're going to be working with a lot of third-party developers, some of the pitches they're going to be making to you are going to be talking about doing Unreal Engine because like they don't know how to use slipspace, and they do know how to use Unreal, and therefore we can get the game out sooner if we're using Unreal for this game. So if they're trying to transition some of the bland part, which is the old engine, the old Halo engine, into Unreal, that could kind of ease that transition to get people making games for them that are from external studios. But like that was me talking. This is the last tweet I'll say about it. With the downsizing and loss of talent for producing narrative single-player content, this is the approach that will be favored in the future, allowing other studios to build with permission Halo titles at scale and lower budget. Lower budget. See, that's the part where I mean, I'm already kind of depressed because it's like
I've been depressed as you read every insert
because all this is saying is that they're no longer working on Halo campaign. So Master Chief's story is over and it's incomplete. And I feel like the Master Chief, I know he's a fictional character, so sue me, but the Master Chief deserves better than that. But that's the way it seems. And if it's going to be continued, it's going to be continued by some random studio that we don't know who that is right now. And they'll likely have approval of a story that Joseph Staten like looks over from Xbox Publishing. But like that's just kind of.
I ain't gonna lie. I think that's a good thing.
Okay, go ahead.
The generation of my generation, for us to get into that, we gonna need somebody that's not Master Chief because we don't know him.
Okay. I disagree with that.
We do not know him.
I disagree with that, but go ahead.
I don't know Master Chief.
You know who he is.
I mean, but I don't like him. Like I don't. He not no. We don't know that man.
Well, look,
he a dude in the suit.
Yeah. Look, he is a. What's the word I'm looking for? Not obsolete, but a older way of making a video game protagonist. You know how like look at my favorite game of all time is Chrono Trigger. That came out in the 90s. But Chrono Trigger had a silent protagonist that didn't say a word the entire game. But like a lot of the emotion and story and great character development was driven by the team around him. You know, like Luca, Terra, all these other people. That old style of having the main protagonist not have too much of a personality, so that you don't turn off the person that is playing the game, and that's the Master Chief. The Master Chief is designed to not have too much personality because they don't want people to be like, well, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have said that.
But look at the age we in, though, dog. We in the age of emotional wrecks. You know what I'm saying?
True.
My whole generation emotionally unstable. We need something. Well, they need some. I don't necessarily need people like that in my game, but they like look at all the games that's hot and look at their characters. Last of Us, Horizon, God of War.
Exactly.
They all got emotion. They all got characters, high octane. Like, you know, it's gonna pull at your heartstrings, bro.
Right, and that's
Master Chief has no mass appeal for them people.
He's absolutely right, Forte. He is absolutely right. That's true.
Right about that, but the difference
it's a different age and a different way of making characters and stories in video games.
He's absolutely right about that, but I do think. But this was the biggest thing we were always talking about. How do you bring Master Chief forward? And I thought in certain instances inside of Halo Infinite they tried to do that. And in parts of it, it actually worked really well. The problem is disjointed, and they tried to rewrite history going all the way back to Halo 4. And that's what kind of was kind of the problem with Halo Infinite. I actually enjoy like Halo Infinite on its own. If you didn't have Halo 4 and Halo 5 to you know kind of bridge it off of, Halo Infinite by its own would have been perfectly fine. But but the fact that we had all those bridges and all those different inserts that happened from those other games, it just seemed like they tried to cover that stuff up and act like, yo, no, nothing happened here. You know, that was the biggest problem with me in that. And I thought, you know, introducing Atriox into the game was like a really, really big step for them because they actually, I felt like
they whiffed on it. They had a,
and that's what I'm saying.
They had a softball underhand pitch with an amazing villain in Atriox. And they whiffed on it. You know what it told me? It told me that Atriox wasn't even a part of the Halo Infinite storyline until maybe when Joseph Staten jumped on. And the best they could do was to create a cutscene of Atriox bodying Chief in the beginning of the game, and then getting him out, and he's gone for the rest of the game,
which was incredible, by the way.
It was incredible, but then it left you like the whole game. Where Atriox at? I need get back. I need to even the score, and you never get that payoff.
But then they tease you at the end of the game and let you feel like whatever the next story beat of the game is going to be the Atriox side. And guess what? That ain't happening.
It's never happened. It's never going to happen. If it happens, it's going to happen in an RTS game if someone does Halo Wars 3. That's where we're looking at now.
I will say Pixelbit said Estrium was a really fire villain, and I like Estrium, but let's not compare Estrium.
He was a little he wasn't Atriox.
No, that's what I'm saying. We can't compare Estrium
he also was a little he was a little Saturday morning cartoon too. You
Well,
know, like kind of like, you know, the very cliched speech and the laughing and stuff. And but it's just, look, he wasn't terrible, but
Listen,
like
Atriox
when
was
you
carrying Master Chief by his foot and bamming him against the wall before he dropped him off of the ship. It was incredible.
it's not as bad as what they did in Halo Guardians, where they marketed it as
Oh, that was
Locke
terrible.
versus Chief, and that was like a 30-second like slap fight. But like it wasn't as bad as that. But they did market Atriox as the villain of this game, and then he was only in it for like the first 2 minutes, and then you never see him again. Like it's almost like they just never learn. And so like kind of go back to what you were speaking about with the Respawn developer who used to work at 343, who went in on the 343 leadership. Like, yeah, man, like they screwed it up. They screwed it up so bad that like the pioneer of the IP comes back to save it, and he can't, because it's that bad, and he doesn't have enough time.
Right.
In Xbox, I got look. People don't like to give Phil Spencer that smoke. Xbox fans, but Phil Spencer need to get this smoke. Okay, Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, all of them, all of Xbox leadership need to get this smoke for this.
I hate that name.
I don't understand. Look, I get you hire friends and stuff, right? Or whatever. I don't know whose child Bonnie Ross saved from drowning, or if she got somebody's like, you know, unmentionable pictures, you know, as blackmail. But Bonnie Ross should not have been allowed to be running the studio for that long. You gotta hold people accountable before it destroys the studio, which is exactly, by the time they got rid of Bonnie Ross, like the studio has been destroyed already.
Right.
How is it? Look, it's either incompetence or it's laziness that you showed that Halo Infinite gameplay that first time in 2019. It was the way you showed it. So you either said this is good and showed it, and then let the fan base tell you this is not good. What's wrong with y'all? Or you didn't even see it. You didn't even see it, and so you didn't know it was that bad until they showed it at E3 and the backlash happened. It's like, what are y'all doing? So look, like that has to be acknowledged. Like this got this to this point. It's 343's leadership that sucked, but who allowed their leadership to do that? Like it needs to be acknowledged at least, because like it seems like no one wants to give proper blame spread around, because it's not just one person that's at fault. It's not just Bonnie Ross that's at fault. It's not just Phil Spencer that's at fault. There's multiple blame that be put around out there, but it's like this stuff needs to be addressed, because they got 20 plus studios. Do you think they learned their lesson with 343? I don't.
See, the biggest problem, and this just goes back to what I said last year. 343 was gifted a franchise they do nothing to do with. Yes, they got a lot of people from Bungie to stay over to help, you know, steward the game. But that only lasted for so long, because we started like 5, 6, 7 years ago, heard people leaving 343 to go to other ventures and stuff. And we was like, oh, it's just this one person. It's just that one person. And people were like, O'Connor was still there. We still had, what's his name? I forget the other studio lead that left, that Microsoft reassigned before Bonnie Ross. It was last year. What was his name?
O'Connell?
Not O'Connell. It was somebody else.
Oh, Chris Lee?
Chris Lee, yeah, Chris Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Chris Lee left, and then, you know, O'Connell and everything. So we was like, oh, O'Connell's still there. Bonnie Ross is still there. And then everybody's like, oh, okay. Then Bonnie Ross was the person that got Microsoft to, continue making Halo games. So people just felt like, the guts is still there for Halo. But honestly, that hasn't been the case for a while, especially going back to the report where you're talking about where he was like, Microsoft's been looking at trying to do something else with Halo outside of 343 for the last 3 years. So what does it actually really truly mean? Is Halo gone? I don't think Halo's gone. I just think Halo's not going to be what people think Halo is anymore. It's going to be a lot of different things. It's going to be battle royale. It's going to be, multiplayer suites where they keep updating stuff like that. It's just not going to be that one box product where you're just going to buy it and you're going to enjoy it with your friends and stuff. And then I just really feel like all games don't need to be a games of service. I can understand if you want to make Halo something like that because it is an appeal to it, but it should be a situation where, okay, instead of making Halo a games of service, let's make other parts of it. Let's do the battle royale and have that be a games of service. I think making the multiplayer free to everybody was an amazing good move. I think that was great, and you can make that a games of service. But you also can put a lot of hard work and get the part of the game that everybody cares the most about, which is the story. And people kind of look at Halo and they say, well, Halo is a multiplayer game. And I'm going to tell you vehemently, you are absolutely wrong. The reason people played Halo,
hold on a second. Hold on a second. I just want to say this is completely unrelated.
Yeah.
That I never saw your part of that headshot you just got to end that match.
Great,
it was amazing headshot, and that was the game-winning shot because we only won by 1 kill. That was Chef's kiss. That was amazing. Okay, go.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't even just that. It was. That was nasty.
Oh, man,
all right, go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
Get that sniper rifle in your hand. It's a wrap. But yeah, man. But the biggest thing for me is people keep talking about Halo is a multiplayer game. Like I said, no, people played Halo. Shout out to Erodimus. He said it in the chat. Halo was single player first. I didn't touch Halo Infinite, I didn't touch multiplayer until I beat the single player because I've always played Halo for what? Single player content first, multiplayer secondary. That's why I was willing to walk away from something like Halo Master Chief Collection because I already played those games and it was mostly the multiplayer offerings that was going to make me come back, and they just did that completely wrong. So I just stopped playing it in general. And that's what I was looking forward to the most. When I would talk to SloMo about what I wanted to see with Halo, it was always about, oh, I can't wait to see what they do next with the saga with Atriox and stuff. I want to see this. I want to see that. It wasn't the fact. I wasn't super upset that Forge wasn't there. I wasn't super upset that, all the maps and stuff wasn't there inside the game. I was more upset that, dude, you literally bundled one of the best opportunities you had to take one of the best villains you could have in the Halo universe, because you built the lore around him, not even in the mainline story. You built it in a third game when it comes to Halo Wars. And I thought that was very well done by Certain Affinity. Was it Creative Assembly? Creative Assembly make those, I believe.
Well, that's a whole nother story of Xbox dysfunction. Creative Assembly made the first Halo Wars, and they were promptly shut down right after that.
Right after it, yeah.
Yeah, and so Certain Affinity did Halo Wars 2.
Yep,
which they did a good job of it.
They did a great job on it.
I think this is, you're probably going to hate to hear this, Forte.
Go ahead.
But Microsoft don't care about Halo for us.
No, they don't.
We are the guys that are the reason why there is an Xbox, because without Halo, there's no Xbox. Because Halo, and without us, there's no Halo, because we were the ones that played it to the crack of dawn, day in and day out, 7 days a week. But they don't care about us no more because it's not enough of us to sustain it in a AAA environment. You want to know who they care about? They care about Struggle. They care about Struggle's generation. They care about Struggle's a content creator on Twitch that have people watching him consistently, and they want Struggle to play Halo. They don't want Struggle to play Fortnite. They don't want Struggle to play Knockout Kings or whatever the heck that game is called. They don't want him to play anything else but Halo. So what are they going to do? They are going to build a game or have a studio that knows how to build a game that can attract Struggle to play. Because his generation is the generation that is the more plentiful gamers out there, and they're the ones that spend that money in live service games. It's not us.
Because we're the ones that ain't y'all used to it when it wasn't there. We used to it being there all the time. So
right, and they got no problem putting down $10 on the battle pass and spending $30 on the skin. Zero issue whatsoever. We hem and haw about it for about.
I was really just
2
in
hours.
a podcast with somebody that literally was just like, "Yeah, I love spending that 30." And you know, I'm a part of the generation, but I'm still like, bro, that's crazy to me. But most people think like him. Yeah, they ain't like me, bro.
And so this is my question, because this is really, look, I know ain't nobody from Microsoft listening, but this should, if there's anyone from Microsoft listening, this should be the most important thing they want to hear. Struggle, what would it take you to get into Halo?
Check.
No, I mean, outside of them like supporting you financially.
If they pay me, I'll play it all day.
I mean, not the current Halo, but what would, outside of no kind of like, hey, I'm doing it for my channel or my platform.
So what would genuinely interested in it?
What would make you genuinely interested in playing Halo? Because that's the most important question for them. What
them
would
cosmetics gotta be right? That content gotta be regularly updated. I'm talking like every 60 days. There's something new to do, like a whole new. You know how like Fortnite doing it. You know, every 60 days it's a new mechanic, a new item dropped on the ground. 45,000 new skins.
They just added a bird now that can actually give you recon, and you can like glide on the bird too, and all this stuff. This
like that's
brand new thing they popped in.
That's their competition, and they are very much losing that battle, bro, because they so stuck and stale. Like, bro, you're the same thing. I can only enjoy this for a couple of hours, dog. And nothing changes.
Would it need to no longer be a first-person shooter?
Hell, no. You can keep the first-person shooter. You can keep because Rainbow Six is a first-person shooter that constantly changes. Not as fast as Fortnite, but people still on that all the time.
So would it be like, what aspects of the gunplay would they need to change? Have you played Halo Infinite?
Yeah, I played it. Okay, man. I think I got like 50 hours.
So a lot of the aiming in Halo is hip fire. Like it's hip fire, but it's also like, even when you ADS, you can't rely on it, because if someone shoots you, it knocks you out of it. So that would need to be reversed for you.
It needs to be like Destiny. They need to make it like Destiny.
I'm not gonna. Hey, I always said that Destiny was the evolution of what Halo should have been.
They need to make it just like Destiny, that type shooting. Very much, it's very close, so I don't see it. It wouldn't like throw it off.
It's pretty much the same almost.
Yeah, they just need to make it like Destiny, like that. Have you like a constantly rotating thing of content. The cosmetics games need to be stepped up times a million. So get that art team to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, real quick. Shout out to Pixel Big G in the chat. I got my studios mixed up. It was Ensemble Studio that got shut down after Halo Wars 1.
Oh, okay.
And Creative Assembly is the one that did Halo Wars 2, because Ensemble was gone. So thank you, Pixel. I got my studios mixed up. All right, go ahead, Struggle. My bad.
No problem. Yeah, like I said, the content needs to start pumping out like crazy, and they got Forge, so that'll bring. Honestly, that if people knew about Forge, like my generation knew, like, because like we kind of left and didn't look back.
Right.
So a lot of people just don't know about Forge, and that's out. So
they should have had Forge at launch.
Oh, 100,000% should have had Forge at launch, bro.
Thank you. You know how many hardcore Halo people yelled at me and cussed me out for saying that. That for me saying they should have delayed the game until campaign co-op and Forge were ready.
Should have,
two main
because
important
they
parts of the
killed
game.
it. Like this is
Yeah.
another reason they killed it is like they made it free without those things, because it gave a lot of people the opportunity to try it and never look at it again if they ain't like it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So if they was gonna drop it for free, you gotta drop it with everything, bro. Not like drop it for free now, test it out, and then wait for the good stuff. Nobody's waiting for the good stuff. They're just gonna leave.
Yeah. Yep. This is all true. Like these are the things that they didn't understand. And they get it now. At least I hope they get it now. But like they didn't understand it then. And I kind of feel like no, I would say probably they still don't understand it, which is why like they are just going to push it out to other studios that they don't even manage or maintain because they don't know how to really get this done. And I would say probably they still may end up not succeeding in their goals with Halo Infinite because you're still like 343 is the one that's kind of managing this stuff. 343 is the one that's going to be managing these studios. Like, bruh.
I feel like they won't succeed because it's old news now. I'm not gonna lie. The way the gaming and stuff just moves so fast, especially in my industry of streaming and playing these games for people, it goes. Your game come and go if it don't stick to first landing. Majority of the time.
So you think if it just the name Halo being attached to it will have people go, oh, "No, I'm good."
People that was new to it, new to Infinite.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh no. I mean like here's a hypothetical. Let's say it's a new Halo game. It's 2026. It's a new Halo game coming out. It's being developed by a completely different third party. It's a live service game. It's got multiplayer stuff in it. It's they're trying to do they got a version of Forge in it. It's got all the things that launch that the younger generation of gamers are interested in, but it's still called Halo. Do they care?
They gonna have to show it all. They gonna have to get some influencers to press it heavy, because the first impression is the best impression always.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they already got their first impression. So if you want them to come out and be a banger and you do all that stuff, you gonna have to get into the hands. I mean, get into the eyes of people because the name ain't gonna do it. The name Halo is gonna bring up a bad memory from a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna do it.
Got you. Yep.
You're gonna have to get in front of the people's eyes.
There you have it, Forte, man.
Yeah, I mean
we old news, bruh.
We
they don't get
definitely that. we definitely old news, man. I mean, it's unfortunate, man, but it's at this point it just comes down to, yeah, we skeletons out here, man. Dinosaurs, fossils. But but the thing is, guess what? Enjoy the game while you can. I mean, right. Halo Infinite's a thing. It still plays really good. Just know that at some point the plug gonna get pulled on this thing. It's not as popular. I mean, it's nowhere near as popular as like Call of Duty games are. So I don't see them. I mean, they might leave the servers open because they left the servers open for Xbox 360 Halo games for quite some time and people weren't playing it. So it's gonna be a while. But man, this was a great show, man. This was amazing. This was fun. It was a lot of topics, and we only went 15 minutes. Oh no, I take that back. 43 minutes.
Oh yeah, time is flown, man. It's been a good show though, man.
It was 15 minutes. It's almost 12 o'clock up in this mug. But yeah, man, it's a great show. Really appreciate everybody in the chat. Shout out to the over 55 people that we had here. Really appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit the like button. It's always going to be a great conversation when you got, like-minded gamers that just want to talk about games in the same room. But with that being said, I want to turn it over to our amazing guest, StruggleGamers. Can you please, first of all, thank you for coming through, man. Really appreciate it. Like I said, I was looking at your stream and stuff.
I'm gonna put your Twitch.
Yep, I was looking at your stream and stuff the other day, and like I said, when I was listening to Tupac, I was just dying laughing to everything you got going on. So please let everybody know where they can find you so they can get that same type of content. I do have all your stuff linked in the description down below, but let everybody know
Oh,
where they can
well,
find you at.
definitely. Definitely. Look, everybody listening, man, go follow your boy on Twitter. First and foremost, that's the best place to get the content. You know what I'm saying? I'm always keeping y'all updated on there. And the second best place, you know, you can come over to the Twitch side. I'm trying to do YouTube this year, but it ain't popping off yet. So come over to Twitch, have some good streams. I stream in the morning time. So if y'all got work, you come in there, lurk, listen to some crazy conversations, some gaming. You know what I mean? While you doing your 9 to 5 things. You know what I'm saying? So you can go ahead and hit both of them links. He said it's in the description and he posted it in the chat. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you
I don't
gonna
know
have a
why
good
I
time.
was posting it. I didn't see. Oh, hey, there it is. Wait. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. For some reason, the chat wasn't updating for me. So, but I see it went in there. It's all good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You definitely gonna have a good time if you come through and stop by the Twitch, man. Struggle Gamers. We play almost everything. I ain't just a Call of Duty head, I promise. You know what I'm saying? We do just chattings, reactions. I even do hot tub streams, y'all. It's a whole lot of variety.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, sir.
Gotta love
Yes,
the
sir. It's a
hot.
whole lot of variety out there, man. Y'all gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
Come follow me over there.
Before we let you go, give everybody a quick break rundown on how you came up with the name Struggle Gamers.
It actually used to be a podcast between me and my homie. We was always we met on we met in high school, I'm sorry. But we used to play on PlayStation all the time, and we was always complaining how when we was kids, we could only afford one type of game. Like, our people's only got us one type of game. Like, I always just got a Call of Duty game every year. That's it. That's all I owned on Xbox. He always had Tekken. So we called each other Struggle Gamers for a long time. Then I was just like, bro, why don't we make a podcast called Struggle Gamers? And we did. It failed dramatically. And then and then I just kept the name for Twitch, man. That's how it became the name.
No, man, there's always a story behind it. But we really appreciate you coming through, man. Once you come on, you're always family, man. You can kick your feet up, go in the refrigerator, everything. So you're always welcome to come back. With that being said, homie, SloMo, the birthday boy, you got another 15 minutes for your birthday is over. Officially over, at least. Please let everybody know where they can find you, what you got going on your channel. And as always, man, I really appreciate you doing this with me week to week, man. You're the real MVP, and most people wish they had friends as good as you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. It's been a great show. I've had an awesome time. Struggle. Thank you for coming through, man. We gotta get you back, man. This ain't gonna be the last time you up at DPS podcast with the 10%ers, man.
I'm
great
here
time.
for it, dog.
That's what I love to hear. It's been an awesome birthday. I gotta say this has been a good cap to the birthday, having a good show. I couldn't ask for much more. The chat was awesome. And we had some really, really great topics tonight. You can if you haven't seen it yet, I did drop a video about the whole 343 and Halo Infinite situation and Halo in general on my channel. Go check that out if you haven't already. I got another video that I may be dropping this weekend. It depends, like maybe on the latest, like Monday, but we'll see what happens. But I'm getting back into to making content, upload content, that is, because I'm always making content. But you'll see a lot more of that, as well as the bigger thought pieces, like black hair and video games, and like huge reviews of games like Elden Ring and stuff like that. I'm still working on those things. They just take longer to develop. But I'm gonna start doing other things that are shorter, and really giving my thoughts on a lot of things that are happening out here as well, so to kind of give you like two forms of entertainment there. So appreciate everyone that's already seen the video. Please check it out if you haven't already, and enjoy your games. Have a great weekend.
Absolutely, man. And before we let you all go, we got to do our ceremony. Shout out to the members. I got mine put up, so I'll give SloMo a chance to get his. But shout out to the 10%ers. You guys power the channel. You guys make this all possible, and we really appreciate you supporting on this level. We got the homie Dragonheart Yobi. He's a 3-monther. We got Stardust Acero. He's on for 7 months. Data War. He's in his first month still, 29 days ago. Shout out to you, bro. Really appreciate it. Texas with the 4 months. I'm a Rich Swag Lord. He's also been a 10%er for the last 6 months. Ramon Terrell for 6 months. Hargi Chini for 7 months. Brat Basement Radio Arcade Podcast for 7 months. Corey Hale also for 7 months. Cat Daddy Lurk, the man, the myth, the legend, the man that's gonna make SloMoBackSlap play Dead Space, and we really appreciate you at the end of this month. He's also been a member for 7 months. Rodimus, the homie, the Xbox Swaganeer, 7 months with us. SloMoBackSlap, the birthday boy, really appreciate him, part of the 10%ers, 7 months. DJ Oris, 7 months, and that guy Smitty, also with the 7 months. Like I said, we really appreciate you guys supporting on that level. And SloMo, I'm gonna turn it over to you for a second.
My side of things with the memberships is Dad of War, Cat Daddy Alert, Dragonheart Yobi, Enrique, Hargi Shani, Texas, Truth Serum, Big Mike, Rodimus, Ramon Terrell, Homie One Kenobi, Sir Taz, Gaming Forte, Corey Hill, Stardust Acero, and that guy Smitty. And as usual, we always appreciate the way you guys support us in this way. It does not go unappreciated or ignored. And let's get on out of here, Forte.
Yep, and shout out to excuse me. Shout out to everybody. Really appreciate you guys. And also shout out to the homie Rodimus. He just read up again for the 7th month. Really appreciate you. Well, with that,
let's go.
You're already on my channel. Hit the like button. Make sure you come back for the next episode on SloMo's channel. And we out. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend, guys. Peace.
Peace.